Hello? Hello? Was I on a dirt bike in LA today? I'll just say that I live in LA and I have my M1 license. That's all I'll just say that, okay? Just leave it there. Oh, what the heck? What is that? Should I fly at night? Should we do night or daytime? I don't know what to do, actually. Any opinions? You guys want some nighttime flying, or should I turn the sun on? Night. What's up, Gore, Maddie, JT, Eric, Salty, Law Dog, Ed, Fish, Matt, Versa. Did I say Bobby already? Night flying, only if the cockpit has red lighting. I don't think this one does. I don't think so. Oh. It's got this. Let's see what kind of lighting we do have in this thing. It's supposed to be avionics, this one. Doesn't seem to work. Panel flood. White. Sorry guys, no red lights in this thing. SimFX? Oh yeah, I saw it. That's why I was late. I was crying for 3 hours. Yeah, I saw that they canceled. I mean, they said they can't do it. Like, technically can't do it or something. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. Night, night, night. Everybody says night. Eric said Tron lighting. Oh, Bird said Tron lighting. So did Eric. Bird FX. Well, there is that guy that's making the fire effects for the PMDG and the Phoenix. That Tri-FX guy or whatever. I installed it. I meant to use it tonight, and I installed it, and I couldn't get my sim to start. The sim crashed during the splash screen, the loading screen. So I had to uninstall it, and then the sim started. So I'm not sure. It's CTDing me for some reason. Maybe he tested on sim update 2, and since I'm on sim update 3, it's not, you know, it's not the thing, I guess. Not working on sim update 3 yet. But his script like modifies a bunch of files to add like fire effects somehow. So maybe that, however that guy's doing it, could be done. Do we know we're getting a full Phoenix compatibility update? They're supposed to have that BFU, that big update at some point. That's like the next thing, but they don't announce dates as far as I know. So when we have it, we'll have it. SimFX will also find a way for a new product. Yeah, maybe. I hope so. I mean, SimFX was so cool. And it's not just like the wing condensation stuff, like the effects, the cloud effects when you go through clouds on like the windshield were so rad. We got a JT and a TJ. Yeah, it's going to become quite confusing. Alrighty, let's do a couple flights here. I'm at Bangor. Oh, why are his lights on and mine? Is it actually showing the floodlights? Wait, oh, and he's gone. And he's back. I should get the GPU on before I kill the battery. And might need to do some maintenance here. Probably good to check it out. Pre-flight, everything says okay. I don't trust myself with how I've handled the plane, so I'm a little worried. Yeah, it says it's okay. Tire pressure, we got 70 and 55. Yeah, pretty much. That's good. Tire health is good. Brake pads. Let's replace the brake pads. There we go. Alrighty, brand new brake pads. Feels good. Maintenance on that. Negative, negative. This stuff looks good. Lights go 250 to 500 hours. I am absolutely nowhere near that. Does the plane remember how you handled it? This plane does, yeah. This plane remembers, I don't know if it's per tail number or per livery or both. Yeah, you can fix it for nothing instantly. Yeah, you just click and it fixes it. There's no risk in just repairing everything at all times. Because you would think like you can't, you know, you can't just spend unlimited money. I mean, some pilots can, I guess, but yeah, you know the exact percentage, yeah. That is true. Alrighty, let's find something here. Let's get this thing on. Hop over to OnAir Company, find a mission. I already got the search pulled up. We're in Maine. I mean, we can go along the coast north into Canada. Maybe. Kings size 1. I kind of want to do at least a size 2 airport. It's more likely to have lights. In NeoFly, what's cool is you can like look for airports that have lighting, but in OnAir Company, the only filter they have for that kind of stuff is oh wait, never mind, I'm wrong. Exclude airports without lights. There we go. All right, let's do that one. I can also exclude military airports, which kind of makes sense for flying the Piper. What just happened? Oh, I hit manage favorite airports. Show only jobs using favorite airports is another option. There we go. You gotta buy Flight Sim 24 instead of playing the Xbox One on PC? What do you mean playing Xbox, the Xbox One on PC? What's up, DJ? You're deciding on your first multi-engine purchase on NeoFly. DA62X? Is that the improvement mod? Or the 414? I'd pick the 414 if you have it. I just don't... The DA62 is cool, and it's much easier. Like, it's less maintenance than the 414. It's easier to fly. But the problem is the visibility in that thing is so bad that I, like, really don't like flying. So, I don't know. I think the 414 is cooler. But if you want something that's just way easier to fly, no mixture, you know, no prop speed, you get the FADEC and the Diamond. The Diamond's a lot easier to fly. So, yeah, the panel, it's more like the, you know, like the strut or whatever you call it around, whatever this thing is called right here, how it hugs the window, like the visibility in it is kind of meh. I also don't like the attitude when you're landing it is so like nose high feeling. The panel is high too, like you're saying. I feel like I have to like sit up super high in it just in that plane. So you could like change your height setting, I guess. That's one way to do it. Or you can use that shortcut to just set your default seated position only in that one plane. Bird says I want to do some basic repair hours currency you earn over time. That would be cool. Oh, based on real time. That's pretty cool, yeah. Because that actually makes sense, because when you're not flying, it could almost be like, well, you wouldn't want to... Yeah, I mean, it could almost be like you earn money when you're not flying, because that's how it would be in real life, you know, like when you're not flying, you earn the currency in repair hours. But maybe it could just be global, but that's pretty cool. But that does make more sense that you're earning the money when you're not flying. Or, you know, it's your day job money that's coming in, basically. Yeah, it's like your day job, yeah. But you wouldn't want to get in the complexity of dealing with hours, then an actual currency, and then, you know, what do you do? Choose Canadian dollars, and then I'm like, what's a Canadian dollar? And you're like, you stupid American. It's like a US dollar, but different. But yeah, that's a cool idea. Every certain number of hours, you can repair a certain thing, or you have to use it as currency, overall balance of currency. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Oh, that's a 2-leg. Looks like we might have to go back down the coast. I don't know why I just don't use the map and just point. And we could go over here. 226 miles. Whoa. Seems kind of far. What's CS? Oh, that's a 2. What's C? CYRI? Rivery de Loop? Du Loop? I can't speak French. 180 miles. Only 1,000? I think we lose money on that flight. Apparently, I lose money on that flight, I'm pretty sure. And Charlevoix? Charlevoix? Rivière de Loop? It's never gonna happen. It's so weird that the person that can't speak French can't pronounce French words. I'm so surprised. It's just a language they don't speak. Sorry, I don't... Contrary to popular belief, I don't know every single airport code by name of country or name of city, and just know the airport code. And I also don't know every language in the world either. Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna go for whatever's got the money. I don't really care where we go. I want to earn a decent amount of money and do a 1-leg. Is this 235 miles? CUD. It's a 3-letter airport name. Wyndham. KUD. There's KFIT. Maybe Core right here. 11. Oh, there's 2. Can I stack these? Probably not. Okay, we go. Radioactive for 1,800. Down to Core. Orange Municipal. Another orange? Alright, that's good enough for me. Alright, we're going to go to Core. Taking too long to pick something. We just need to get out of here. Prepare the plane. Take a sip of my drink. Simbrief dispatch. Alright, we gotta load it. 884 pounds of fragile industrial parts. M500. There we go. What's up, Southwest? Oh, the Piaggio P180. Yeah, I haven't. That was a fun plane to fly, and I didn't fly it since it came out. I do that with way too many planes. I fly them, I enjoy them, and then I kind of forget about them. Sorry, Piaggio. Alright, here's the route that I got. We're going... I thought it said direct Clown. Alright, got the route copied over. We need 828 pounds of fuel. Oh, co-pilot work. Oh, yeah, no, this isn't the Flight Sim 24 co-pilot, I forgot. Is this just... Oh, this is actual... Wait, is this actual lighting? It looks like it is, yeah. Almost looked like a bug where I was seeing through the plane. All right, import the sim brief data. 71% fuel, minus 204 pounds. It just always lets us accept things that we can't take the full block fuel amount for. But it usually gives us way too much fuel, so whatever. We'll risk it. All right, no time offset. We'll keep it in real time. So it says we can go 411 miles. And how far is the flight? 200 miles. Worst case, we land somewhere and fuel it up. All right, that's all set. We'll use the auto set stuff here, and it says crash detection needs to be active. Oh, crash detection. I hate it. All right, crash detection is on. Not that I'm going to crash, but just because, I don't know. If you hit a wrong bump or something, sometimes it gives you the crash damage. All right, let's get the nav lights on. So is this just following whatever I turn on? Let's see. Oh, no, it's not. It is separate. Hey. Nav lights on. All right, start tracking. Fetching the sim brief. All right, looks like Elevate X is good to go. Banger to core. All right, let's go over here and get that imported pre-flight. Oh, sorry, flight plan. How does right-clicking always move this thing? Import from SimBrief. There we go to core. Orange Municipal. All right, departure METAR. We got 6 knot winds from the, it's at the southwest. Few clouds. 11,000. 3020. It's a comma. The heck is my weather not on live? Live weather, comma. Oh, I was hitting period over and over again. Nice. All right, 3020. Arrival METAR. Winds are calm. 10 miles of visibility clear. Heck yeah. 3029. And then alternate 3 knot winds. 10 miles and clear. All right. Very nice. Guess I'll use the charts here. Why not? You know, I think I wish this, like, the more we get this EFB mounted in the plane instead of the custom EFBs, and the more we get features in this where we have the moving maps, like our geolocated position on the moving maps, then there'll be like no going back. All right, import the route. Just so we can get it over here. All right, imported. Looks like 24,000 for the cruise. Let me get some Beyond ATC going, so we got some lights in the sky besides ours.
Beyond ATC connected.
Looks like we don't have any LIDO charts at the destination. So let's see, runway 32 is what it's saying we're probably going to do. And we're coming from this direction. Maybe we'll go to Bronx then, or Hutton. Might need to go to Bronx. Yeah, after Clow to Bronx. We could make that turn at Hutton, right? I think we could make the turn. Yeah, we could do that. All right, Hutton. And no charts, so we need to go over here to Destination Airport Core charts, and there are no LIDO charts here. So FAA, we have the approach for 3-2, no airport chart, no dark mode for FAA charts. All right, and then we have the Jeppesen if we need them. So in this case, like, this airport doesn't have charts for FAA or LIDO it's got the approach chart, but no ground chart. But here, there is a Jeppesen chart available for it. So there's the benefit to still having Navigraph, but for $100 a year, maybe it's not a benefit to a bunch of people. How do you get SimBrief in the stock EFB? Yeah, you download it from their website. If you go to the SimBrief website, at the top menu, there's a download button on like their main menu. Just go there and scroll all the way to the bottom, and that's where the Flight Sim 2024 EFB app will be. Just throw it in your community folder, and the next time you start the sim, it'll be in the EFB. It's awesome. Why not just use them all the time? Oh, the Navigraph ones? I just like showing what's free in the sim for everybody. Like if I'm using the stuff that everybody has access to, then I don't know, it just makes it, I don't know, I like showing what everybody can do, not only what I can do. That's why I always like zoom in and click stuff. Like, as long as you got a mouse, you pretty much can do everything. Every click I'm making can be done as easily as I'm doing it. And I use all the default camera positions because then nobody has to make custom ones, and you know. All right. What's next here? Probably, yeah, we'll get our clearance.
Couch 323.
Let's make sure that it's in
pick
here.
Up our clearance to Orangeman Airport.
To Clow. And then we're going to do the RNAV.
Couch 323, Bangor clearance.
And Hutton.
Orangeman Airport.
No course
Radar
reversal.
vectors close, then is filed. Maintain 4,000.
4,000.
Flight level 240, 10 minutes after departure.
There we go.
Departure frequency
And squawk code.
124.5. Squawk
It's my party,
0653.
and I'll cry if I want to.
Clear to Orangeman Airport.
Don't cry,
Radar vectors
Tweak.
close,
Thank you
then
for
is
4
filed.
months, Tweak.
Maintain 4,000.
Thank you so much, man.
Expect flight level 240.
4
10
months.
minutes after departure.
At least 4 more to go.
Departure frequency 124.5.
What's up, Dan? Still live? No, I just got. I just went live. Do you think I've been on since yesterday?
Couch 323, read back correct.
What?
Contact ground 121.9er when ready
What do you mean
for
I'm still live? I just went live.
We'll contact ground 121.9.
Or is he saying, you still live?
323. Thanks.
Jeez. Not that old. Yeah, I'm still here for now. 0653. Okay, we got our transponder code. This looks good. Let's go ahead and set our runways. We got runway 15 here, and then arrival. We have that in, so it'll get runway 32. All right, there's runway 15 all the way up there. All right, let's get the plane started up. Manual. Click this. Pull the mixture to 0 and then push start. $12 NG. Fuel. Watch the ITT. Don't blow up the engine. Alright, 930 max. Watch, it's gonna go in the red for a second because I think it's a bug. It's not doing it. Oh, there it is. What the heck is that? Oops, throttle was maxed out. Alright, good. Let's go up here, get the generator alternator on. Fuel pump to auto and ignition off. I don't know if we can actually turn the avionics down in this. We can do the panel lights, so that's all the teal ones. And there's an avionics one up here, but it doesn't seem to do anything. Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything.
Great success! Thank you, Tweak Demon. You make very much happiness with 4 months. You now honorable couch captain. High five. Very proud.
It says it's at 30%.
Yes.
Banger couch 323 ready to taxi. Alright, let's get our taxi on. Oh, there's beyond ATC landing.
Runway 15 taxi via Alpha.
15 via Alpha. Yep.
Runway 15 taxi via Alpha. Couch 323.
Alright. Taxi light on. Let's get our pitch trim set to 3. 3.0 right there. Flaps to takeoff position. I want the ECS on, bleed air on. For pressurization, and then air conditioning to low. Usually move this about halfway. Alright. Pin to charts. Nothing. Alright, banger ground chart. No departure. Alright, parking brake is off. Let's roll it. What's up, Centaurus? When did the base Vision Jet have checklists and charts built in? Sim update 2. It's pretty new, and so does the PC-12 and PC-24 now. And maybe we'll get it in the G1000 next. Yeah, the FAA and LIDO charts are in there now. It's pretty awesome.
Recharge 3408. Ramp 7 taxi via Alpha.
Taxi via Alpha.
Ramp 7 via Alpha. Brickyard 3408.
You're so late? No, I just got on. Oh. Right. You're so late to the... Yeah, I didn't know that either until recent... Oops. I forgot to disconnect the GPU, dudes. Whoops. Trouble with the GPU. Alright, maybe I'll go disconnect that now. There we go. Alright, we're good. Oh. Oh god, which way am I going? Free GPU, we just threw it in the back, yeah. Rockin' said, is Navigraph worth it? If you want Jeppesen charts, so if you want charts at more airports and you want a consistent chart format, then yes. The apps they have are also awesome, and if you want the latest updated nav data all the time, which like Phoenix, I think Phoenix plane. The Phoenix is one where you kind of need it. I still am not clear if you can install old data for Phoenix. People have said that you can. But it is nice to have the latest up-to-date data, which will usually be updated much more often and promptly than Microsoft updates it. And it's nice to have the Jeppesen charts, and then if you have a second monitor to run the Navigraph software on, or you have a tablet or a phone you can put the Navigraph software on, it's pretty cool. It's just like $100 something a year, like around $100 US a year, I think. So for some people, having the charts like the FAA charts and the LIDO charts in the sim now, it's kind of like, do I really need to pay for that? Which I totally get. And people have also said that you can get the nav data only without the charts, but you have to like end your current subscription and wait for it to be fully canceled. And then you'll see on your dashboard an offer to just subscribe for the data only. Like if you go to the pricing page, everything's just about ultimate, not just the nav data. They used to have both. So I don't know, maybe they're trying to discourage people from just buying the nav data, but I'm not sure. I think it'd be nice if the nav data was like just right on the pricing page and you could just get the nav data and maybe upgrade, to ultimate later if you want to. So then you can keep all your nav data, set and up to date. And then maybe if you realize that you don't you want more than just the FAA and the LIDO charts, then maybe you'll pay to get the jet position charts. $20-hour flight? No, that sounds exhausting. You mean in real life? I think in real life I've maybe done like a 14 or 15-hour flight at the most. What do you mean, Dan? Drag and drop? The ones you did for the 77, the 200 were community folder, right? What do you mean drag and drop? Oh, PMDG. Oh, you redid the form. So do people need to install it through PMDG now? Yeah, Rex, I'm on the beta. Yep. Jep charts.
Couch 323. Contact
You may have to do it so you can fly with you guys again.
0.7.
It's been a lot more solid. The
Over
first
tower,
build I
120.7.
couldn't fly the
Couch
777,
Take care.
but they fixed that in like the second or third build. Hopefully we'll get another one this week. I want my handlebar hider, my top menu bar hider app to work again. Like, I hate seeing the top menu thing every time I move my mouse, this thing. Oh. Banger Tower, Couch 323, ready to depart runway 15. I should check my pitch trim. I like to give it a bit nose up.
Bangor Tower, wind 225 at 4. Fly heading 150, runway 15. Cleared for takeoff.
Alright, pitot heat, stall heat, manual.
Fly heading 150.
Landing nav and
runway
strobe.
15. Cleared for takeoff. Couch 323.
And outside air temp is 15. Alright, parking brake off. Let's also get heading and flight level change. Set our flight level change speed to 125. Oh, where am I? Oh, this is 15 here. Whoa. Interesting. Oh, it just turns around. I thought I was going like a full runway length over here. Alright, 125. Sync the heading bug. Oh my god. Yeah, I see everybody's liveries. Look. I see the pooping unicorn. Everybody's lights are fully on in there, but the liveries are working. Sim Update 2 has been so stable. Oh yeah. Yeah, Sim Update 2 has been great. I mean, if you don't want to deal with the bugs, then, you know, don't opt into the beta. It could be kind of annoying, you know. It's a hard decision to make sometimes, but yeah. Yes, this is Sim Update 3 beta, and yeah, the night lighting is a lot better. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, under 1300 torque. Rotate.
Bangor Tower, Piedmont 5938. Visual runway 15.
Yeah, the right wheel's coming up a little later than the left one.
Bangor Tower, continue.
Alright, 400 feet.
Roger. Piedmont
Let's
5938.
wait for the departure end of the runway, I guess. Probably a good idea. Flaps up. That's our boy Bird. Alright, looks like we're over departure end of the runway now. Alright, let's turn it out to the right.
Couch tree 23. Contact Bangor departure.
Our co-pilot's got it.
Contact Bangor departure. Couch 323.
Yaw damper's on, flight level change. Autopilot's off for now.
Bangor. Couch 323. 1,600.
Couch 323. Bangor departure. Radar contact. Climb maintain 12,000 feet. Altimeter 3020.
12,000 feet.
Climb maintain 1,200.
Alright, sync the heading bug straight ahead. Heading mode. Nav mode on standby. Autopilot on. And increase our airspeed to 140.
Donut.
Thanks for that bird tweak. Donuts. Alright, ignition. Let's get that back to auto. And fuel pumps to auto. Landing nav and strobe lights are good.
Turn left. Heading 090.
We're definitely not turning to 090. What are you, crazy?
Heading 090.
Go direct
Couch
east?
323.
Heck no. Alright, let's get rid of this map. It's distracting. There we go. See what it looks like if we go to menu and turn it down manually.
Endeavor 5249. Contact Bangor Tower 120.7.
Look, it doesn't change the brightness at all. That's the bug.
Over to tower 120.
Even on manual, the brightness doesn't change.
49.
So 30 might be nice if it actually did it. It does not.
Couch 323. Turn right. Heading 055.
Turn right 055.
Turn right. Heading 055. Couch 323.
Cabin pressure warnings in the PC-12. Well, if you're not in career mode, then it won't affect you. It'll only be a problem if you're in career mode. Bork since day one. Yep. But Sim Update 3 actually fixes it. Well, I don't know if it's like fixed. I was reading on Reddit and somebody was like, oh yeah, they just made it so it doesn't fail you, or they basically just made it so the pressurization isn't really happening at all and it doesn't matter or something. More so than they fixed it, they just kind of made it not worry about it. I don't know. Do I remember PPL? I mean, the people that are around often? Yeah, sure. Of course. What's up, Chupacabra? What's your name? I think it's like TJ or something. I still don't know, like, you guys seem to like it at nighttime. Flying in the sim at nighttime is fun, but I don't think watching the stream at nighttime is fun. Like, I have my tablet on over here, and it's so dark. It's just so dark, I don't know that it's, like, interesting to watch on the stream. Make it sunset or sunrise? Everybody said to fly at night. I like how it looks, but like, right, it's just, I have my tablet right here looking at it, and it's just like, eh. Like, I get it, the lights look kind of cool, but after sunset, but then it's just gonna get dark again. It's just so chill, I guess. I mean, there's just so much more to look at during the day. Like, the lights are cool for like 10 minutes. It's fun to watch. It's gonna help you fall asleep. It's also kind of a pain when we can't turn the screens down. This is so bright.
Couch 323. Contact Boston Center 128.2.
Contact Boston Center 128.2.
Yeah, so there are definitely night vibes. All right, we'll do the first one at night, but then after this one, I'm gonna do daytime, or at least like sunrise, sunset. You're vibing, yeah. Everybody likes the dark. I guess it depends on where you're watching it. I mean, if you're like crawling in bed or on the couch and it's super dark in your house and you're watching, then dark is kind of nice. You don't have to turn your brightness to 0.
Flight level 240, couch 323.
Did I just get this plane? No, I've had this since it came out in Flight Sim 2020. This plane's one of my favorites still. I hope they update it to work fully with 24 and let it work for career mode. Yeah, exactly. My eyes! They're over 10,000 feet. Sink the heading bug. Looks like we have enough fuel barely to get there. We're in the climb, so we're using more fuel than we will in cruise, of course, but hour and 32 endurance, hour and 12 en route. So even during the climb power settings, we have enough to get there all the way at these power settings. Barely, though. Hey, Rocco, thanks for hanging out too, man. This super long direct straight to Clow. Clow? Clo?
Are you sure about that?
Sure about what? Daytime? Thanks for the bits, Tweak. So dark. The darkness. Hey Jim, how you doing? You have a lot to learn on PC because Xbox doesn't have that much. I mean, it's pretty much the same game. I mean, you might be more limited in what planes you can get on Xbox because they have to be in the marketplace. But I mean, you can. Wait, did you switch from Xbox to PC, Rockin'? You switched to the gaming laptop, is that right? But some people will end up taking their Xbox and like putting it at a desk and attaching a keyboard and mouse to it and just treating it like a PC, you know? Non-towered airports don't have runway lights. Oh, do they really not? Is it all untowered airports don't have lights? Is it just a global thing? I mean, there's some that do and don't, but I don't know if there's a hard rule like that. Oh, they said to go to 24,000. Let's do that. 24,000 flight level change at 140 knots. And then what is it? Once we get above 20,000, we're supposed to climb at 125 knots, I think. Checklist, cruise, climb. Yeah, crew climb 140 knots until 20,000 feet. And then 125 knots above 20,000 feet. So we do 125 for our VY speed, 140 for a cruise climb. But if we go above 20,000 feet, we need to go back to 125. Otherwise, it's going to take forever to get up to 24,000. You tried 15 different airports, and all of them have no lights. That's so weird. I didn't know it was just a hard rule like that. That's cool to know. Yeah, pilot-controlled lights, yeah. I'm sure it depends on the airport. You know, if it's a little tiny grass strip somewhere, a little tiny private airport, maybe it doesn't, but I didn't know that there was just a rule like that where if it was untowered, it had no lights. Yeah, it would be really cool. Yeah, you can't do it in the sim though, Sask, because it just doesn't work, unfortunately. But that would be so cool if they added that in the sim. Pilot controlled lighting, keying the mic. That would be such a cool improvement to the sim. Like they could just make a shortcut that's just for keying the mic. Like we know that we can't use ATC with our voice or anything yet, but that would be really cool. Really, really cool. I mean, they just added wake turbulence, so that's pretty awesome. Animals, yeah, they're animals. They can be hard to find, and it depends on your settings. So if you're on PC, you can go into your main settings and then go under graphics, the global graphics settings or whatever, and turn the fauna setting higher. So the higher the fauna setting, the more animals it'll spawn, and the further out you'll be able to see them from. But if you want to see animals for sure, you can just go to the home screen and do the photography challenges. The world photographer is actually pretty awesome. I mean, it gets you in all sorts of places all around the world, seeing different animals, all the points of interest. The photographer mode, I think, is pretty awesome. I'd rather do that than like bush flights and stuff like that that were in 2020. Regular ATC is boring. Can't interact. You just mean by talking? I mean, you just do it through key presses, but you know. But yeah, it'd be cool if you could talk to it. And that's why Beyond ATC is great. It's not easy to interact with career mode with it, but you know, it's doable here and there, but that's why I mean, for now, like, career mode is cool, but if you're on PC and you've tried career mode and you're kind of done with it, NeoFly is free. Beyond ATC is $30. Yeah, or FS Economy. It does, you know, whatever you like using. Whatever gives you an excuse to, like, keep flying and keeps you entertained and keeps you excited to open the sim, just use that. I mean, I bounce around to everything, you know. I do a pilot's life, then I do NeoFly, then I do OnAir company, then I, you know, try another one, and then I do world photographer, and then, you know, I hop all over the place, because if I didn't, I would get bored really fast. So I kind of just need to keep trying new stuff to keep excited about it. All right, standard Barrow. Getting on tomorrow? I mean, I get on almost every day. But sometimes I need a day off. Sometimes I want to make a video. Sometimes I just want to do nothing. Sit and watch TV and just not think about streaming. But, I mean, overall, obviously I like doing it. What's NeoFly? It's a free career mode app. It has some paid add-ons, but they're optional. So NeoFly, yeah, this one is OnAir company that I'm using now. It's kind of more advanced, but it costs like $40 a year. I always recommend people start with NeoFly because NeoFly is free. And it's great. They're both very similar. Like, OnAir company just has some insane features where, like, you can open a virtual airline and you can own an FBO. It's kind of like a shared world. So, like, people can open FBOs that offer, like, fuel and offer repair services. And other players in OnAir company can actually, like, you make money off of the fuel that other players buy from your FBO. So it's got that, like, MMO kind of thing with it, but it's paid. Well, OnAir has like a 7-day free trial, so you can try that too if you're into OnAir. But I think for most people, OnAir company is more than enough. What's cool about NeoFly is more than enough, but OnAir company, because it's paid, it is more like a cloud-hosted thing. It's like there's interactions with other players where you can buy and sell things. You can rent your plane to people. You can, like I said, you can open an FBO and provide mechanic services and fuel services to other players. You can take over an airport. You can do, like, we were doing it earlier this year, like, you can build a base camp in the middle of nowhere, and it'll put a little campsite down in the sim for you. And when you visit it and land there, you can like drop off workers to go do hunting and mining and fishing and stuff like that. And they'll craft for you, and you'll have like fish meat to pick up, you know, and like move it to a different location to sell it. Like, it's pretty insane. So yeah, I mean, OnAir is the most elaborate of all of them. It has the most features. It's all saved in the cloud, which is really cool. But you know, that's why they can justify charging the money. You know, that's why it costs money like that. If you do end up paying for it though, I would recommend buying at least a year. Do not buy it for like one month at a time. It's like $10 US month to month. If you buy 3 months, it's less per month. If you buy a year, it turns out like, you know, a couple dollars, like $3 a month equivalent. So just don't buy the 1 year or the 1 month plan, because it's just so much more expensive. It's way cheaper to commit for, you know, 6 months, a year, or 2 years. Oh, a rescue scene in OnAir. Oh yeah, I wonder if I could get one of those. Like, I just keep looking up whenever I do the find a mission thing. I always have it set to just cargo and passengers. I mean, there's even like helicopter missions and stuff. So when you choose it, I always forget about that. There's like the main filter at the top. See, we have packs and cargo, sightseeing, rescue, fighter jet missions, glider missions, and then offshore is like part of an Aerosoft add-on where you land at offshore oil rigs with helicopters. But yeah, there's like sightseeing missions, rescue missions. The fighter jet ones are like intercept. You have to fly a certain place at a certain altitude and like intercept a plane or something like that. I don't think I've done those either. Oh, maybe I should try this tonight. Maybe I should do a rescue one. Yeah, I should probably change it up a little bit. I'm just always doing packs and cargo. I'm so boring. Do the same thing every time. The year plan, I think it's like $40 US. Jason! How'd that launch go today, Sawyer? I watched it. I saw it detach. I saw the end of the first fuel. What was it? The second fuel burn stage. What is it? SCOT. I forget what it's called. And then I was, you know, I had a lot of meetings today, so I didn't watch too much. SCCO, that's it. But I don't know what happened after that. The booster didn't make it home, did it? Or it like didn't re-land, I think, right? The booster was coming down and it kind of disappeared. Then they just kind of cut the camera away. I was like, oh, that probably means something bad happened. Look at that. We're almost at 24,000, climbing at 140 knots. So that's not too bad. First stage delivered to the ship. The booster wasn't supposed to re-land, but it did blow up earlier than they were planning. The ship started spinning out of control in space. Kind of blew up. Oh, it did? Oh, I didn't see that. Did they open the door? I remember when I was watching, they were like, I was watching on NSF, but I think people were like, the commentators were talking about hoping that they opened the door because they had the camera inside. Oh, the door got stuck. Oh, sorry to, you're like giving me a play-by-play. It's super kind of you. They learned a lot. Oh, I'm sure. You don't mind? Why? You're like into it or something? You're actually interested in it? You're not just faking it? You're not just faking it to be a YouTube star? I found him out. I knew it. He's also not into airplanes either. He's just here pretending. The rocket was not designed by JT. Oh no, too soon, JT. Oh no, poor JT. Hey, you know what they say? Only your friends will make fun of you. To your face. Fumes. With space, yeah, they did like the Starship launch number 9, was it? And I was watching it earlier on NSF, on NASA Spaceflight channel on YouTube, where our buddy Sawyer is a commentator. And poor JT. Hey, he's laughing about it, so it's good. It did a lot of what it's supposed to do. They didn't get to test the satellite deploy since the door got stuck. They didn't test the heat shield and re-entry because it was out of control. But it didn't blow up and litter the waters around the Turks and the... I don't even know how to say that word. I don't know anything outside of California, okay? I'm going to mispronounce that. Caicos? is it Caicos? 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 Yeah, Rocket. Yeah, they're roasting JT on the Twitch chat. I love jokes about me, makes me feel appreciated. I promise it's all good. Well, he's laughing, so it's all good. He doesn't seem annoyed. Something happened to the Starship. Yeah, I mean they've been. It's had a lot of like problems, you know. Each time they're learning something new and trying again. You know, science, the ways of science, you know. Okay, Bird says, thoughts on this? Do you feel that the lack of attention from Musk over the... Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Bird Mod. Of Musk over the past 12 months due to his political involvement is showing up in the Starship program? I just assume... I assume that anybody that people think is super involved is not really that involved. I would say the same about any CEO at any company, that I think there's a very, very high chance that those people are just contributing as much as anybody else can, and they're not like ruining or making or breaking a project on their own for the most part. Like the whole Steve Jobs thing, right? Like Steve Jobs is so like highly respected, regarded. He's like, oh my God, he's a genius. It's like, dude, the team that worked with him, the team he worked with, the people that, you know, made those products, the engineers, the designers, like, you do need like an idea guy, but it's just like, if you're just the idea and the money guy, and if you are somewhat intelligent, and not a total like narcissist, you're going to let the people do their work, you know? So I would be surprised if it affected a bunch of extremely intelligent engineers and scientists that would work at a place like SpaceX or any other place like that, you know? I doubt that it's affected them. And they're there to do good work. Like, you know, ones that are like embarrassed by that kind of thing, they probably just shake their head and just keep working because they're making spaceships. It's like they're at their dream job. It's what they want to work on, kind of thing, you know? There's only so many places you can work doing that kind of work too, so. Oh, what's up, Lego? How you doing, dude? You did your first ever landing, also first ever ILS landing perfectly. Hell yeah, man. It was smooth, no hiccups. Sweet, dude. Glad to hear it. I really gotta make a 737 MAX tutorial. You don't personally think so? They're being pushed hard. They've got pushed and pushed hard. They've got an overly ambitious schedule through 60+ hour weeks around the clock. Worked into the ground weeks, meeting a deadline. You're not surprised. People work their care and want to succeed.
Center on 124.25. Couch 323.
You met Prince Andrew and Elon? I don't think we know that story.
Couch 323.
I'm missing the point. His pressure to succeed and insane timelines are seemingly gone. Oh, you think like he's not there pressuring because he's playing politics? Sent, I'm just on Twitch. I just multi-stream YouTube and Twitch. I just recently started doing Twitch. Like 5 months ago, maybe? I think I started it this year, December or January on Twitch, just multi-streaming. You like the default Max? I do too. I think the Max is underrated. That plane is really good for a default plane. I mean, you guys that saw me try to fly the 737-800 in X-Plane, the default plane on that was so bad. It didn't even have like an init or a performance page, I think. It's ridiculously simplified in X-Plane. The X-Plane one is embarrassingly simple compared to what we have on the Asobo one. Alright, our TOD's in 13 minutes. Alright, I can't take it anymore, guys. It is so dark in here. We need sunrise. There, just a little bit. Oh my god, that's so much better. Hey, wait, what? Oh, I can't. Damn it. I can't because OnAir company enforces the time you picked at the start of the mission. So it resets it back. Do I think it's time to level up to another aircraft? Yeah, do the Skyhawk. Modern and faster. If you want a baby step up and still using the G1000, then you could do the 208 Grand Caravan. Especially if you're doing something like NeoFly or OnAir company, you can carry a lot more cargo and packs in that plane. And it's actually easier to fly than the 172 because it's a turboprop. You don't have to deal with leaning mixture. You just have a prop control instead, but in that plane you can just leave it full forward the whole time. But that'll introduce you to low and high idle turboprop fuel condition lever, which is really easy to use. I don't know if you're learning to start the planes up yourself or if you're just starting on the runway, but it's kind of fun learning how to start them at taxi and do the whole process. But the Grand Caravan's a really nice step up. Or if you want to go even faster than that and more modern, then the Vision Jet, which I have videos all about the Vision Jet. I don't have that many videos, honestly, but I did do one this year about the Vision Jet. A series. It's like 5 parts. Should make some tutorials. I have a bunch of tutorials on the G1000 like over the years. During when it was being made and improved in Flight Sim. You can cold start at FA18. Yeah, the default, Rockin', the default Max is the one that comes with Flight Sim 24, yep. JT says, I met both of them last year at a Formula 1 race. Grandparents dropped 10K on a super cool pass. Oh my god. Lets you meet and talk to every driver. When I was at the driver break room, you meet Elon and Prince Andrew. I just said, hey, bro. Dude, hey, bro. You'll go for the Vision Jet? Yeah. Yeah, the Vision Jet's really fun. It's another one you can fly in career mode, too. The 172, the Grand Caravan, the Vision Jet. I have one on the PC-12 as well. Just a single one on that. That you can fly in career mode if you're doing career mode stuff. Alright, 10 minutes till TOD. Alright, I see Hook. Hook's in the Reborn in the FSR. Laws in the M500 as well. Overtie's in the Vision Jet. Is Jonas flying with us? I don't know if he is. This guy's in the Air Canada Phoenix A320. I don't know if Jonas is flying with us. But he's over there 100 miles away. Yeah, probably not. Hello! What's up, Mott Turtleneck? How you doing, dude? What else are you guys in? Versa's in the M500. Rookie's in the M500. JT's in, I don't know, because it doesn't say anything other than airliner 2 engine. So he's probably not in an airliner with 2 engines. Eric's in the Vision Jet. Shadow's in the 38. Oh, he's in the Max. Oh, you're in the PC-12? I just love how somehow the sim doesn't know what plane you're in. I don't get it. How does it not know what plane somebody else is in? It's so strange, dude. Yeah, no PC-12.
Contact Boston Center 118.55. Center on 118.55.
I think we're just passing Portland.
Have a good one.
There's Portland, Maine.
Boston Center, couch 323.
I mean, you can really see the runways. I don't know if it was like this always because I like never fly at nighttime. Do you guys think they improved the view distance of the runways as well and the beacons, or do you think it's just the other planes? Like, I know the lights look better when you're close enough, but were we always able to see them this far away? You like to fly at night? It has improved. Nice. Just the view distance of the runways. I mean, I can make out the beacon here too, right over there on the, pretty much to the left of the, at the far end of the runway. I can see the beacon at the airport flashing right there. There's the green, white right there. I always have to Google this. What is the beacon code? Is it like green, white beacon is a civilian airport and like green, white, white is a military or something? Green, yellow, white. Lighted heliport. Military is 2 quick white flashes and then a green. Okay. Airport beacons explained. Civilian is white and green. Military does double white and then green. Heliport, yellow, white, green. Water airport, yellow and white. I don't know if we have beacons for heliports or water airports. So okay, it's either two flashes is like stay away. Unless you're a military jet. So here's another. This is just green and white, civilian airport. Is it good in 24? Yeah, I've been flying it a bit recently, the last several streams, Rex, and it does seem just fine in 24. It doesn't support the 2024 wear and tear system and stuff, so it's still a 2020 plane. But I haven't had any issues with it. So yeah, I know it was updated to support 2024, but not fully, you know, it's just 2024 compatible. I remember Rawl, who's the developer for FSReborn, announcing it, so yeah, it's been running great for me. But I do wish that it had all the 2024 features like the bugs and dirt and the wear and tear and, you know, eventually use it in career mode, but it doesn't yet. I think it's worth $30, but like, I don't know. I've been flying this plane since it came out in 2020. I think the reason why it's worth that is that it's kind of good in every way. Like it's basically like a Comanche level turboprop because it has all of these realism settings you can turn on. So you can think of it as like a studyish level turboprop. So I would put it in the same category as like a black square plane, the Comanche, planes like that. It's just as good as those planes. Because you can turn on as many of these realism options as you want. I think this is one of the only planes I've seen that has bird strikes that will look at the ATIS info to know if there's birds reported in the vicinity and have a chance for a bird strike, which I haven't had happen to me yet. And then it's also got its own ground ops things, its own load manager. You can do all this stuff like pull out the red carpet, and it's got its own like mini GSX. So when you're on the ground, you can have it come fuel it up. You can have it come drop the passengers off. So if you like that GSX style stuff, it's got that. I think the downsides for this plane are that it's not fully 2024 compatible yet, so it's not going to accumulate dust, dirt, grime, all that stuff the new 24 planes do. And it doesn't have the failure, the wear and tear system in yet either. So that means that it's not, at least not yet, maybe ready for career mode. But if you don't care about the full 2024 compatibility with the new features, then I think it's still great. You know, it's got, you know, if you care about like the, you know, it's got like a passenger mini game. It's got all the bells and whistles. So if you like those add-ons, you know, like the realism settings, the GSX-like things, it's got this cabin comfort thing, which is just like this little, you don't even have to touch this, but it's like a little mini game, like tell the passengers to buckle up. You can serve them snacks, serve them coffee. You can organize the pillows in the back or stow them. You can see what the, you know, they'll complain here if it's too hot or too cold. All those kind of things are, you know, it's just like a little mini game feature, but you know, that stuff I just see as totally extra, and it doesn't matter if it has it or not. Some people like that stuff. Actually, where's the cabin lighting in this thing? I don't know if I know how to turn on the cabin lighting in this thing. I'm just always flying during the day. Is there something down here? Is it on the side? Oh, there we go. There's a light. Whoa. Found it. You know, like the window shades go down. You can serve this stuff to the passengers. Like the pillows will fall off if you have too hard of a landing, or too many G's.
Couch 323.
Yeah, I mean, for what it is, for like a GA plane, it's one of the more full-featured ones. So yeah, I would put it right up there with the Black Square planes. Oh yeah, the other downside is like just the speed, right? Like it's pressurized, which is really cool. It does have those engine failures and effects. Like if you mess up the engine, like you'll see like flames coming out of the exhaust. You'll see smoke rise from here if you kill the engine, the alternator. So that's really unique about it. It's all built in. So yeah, I do think it's worth. I do think it's worth the $30. The price is like $30. I think it's only in the marketplace. I'm not sure if it's on sale right now. I know that he did a sale shortly after 24 came out. Moving around the cabin, Brian, if you're on PC, you just hold shift. Hold down shift and use WASD. And then you can look around with your arrow keys or IJKL, or right click with your mouse and keep the right mouse button held down while you look left and right. You just hold shift. And then up and down is Q and E. Shift, Q, and E. So just keep shift held down and pretend like you're in an FPS. Oh, it's on sale. Oh, it's like $3 off. That's not much of a discount, but he is like a one-man show. You're $30 away from affording it. Yeah, it's not a very big discount, but it's more than nothing, I guess. I guess it's a 10% discount. Yeah, I think it's only on the marketplace. I mean, yeah, then you have, if you have Navigraph, you can, it's got SimBrief import. It's got Navigraph. And it's got all these settings too, so you have like, it's got these automatic cameras. So I think I have the landing gear one, so when I put my landing gear down, it'll shift to an outside camera automatically. It's kind of neat. And then yeah, if you're doing the realism stuff and you have any of the realism things turned on, there's like so many options. I actually love that it has all the options like this, because you can just, like, I started flying this plane with only turning on, like, I turned on the light bulb wear and tear and failures. You know, I turned on the brake and tire stuff, but then I left the engine stuff off. Yeah, there's all sorts of failures, and I don't know how to recover from them necessarily. So if I run into them the first time, it'll be interesting.
Boston Center, Finnair 16 Heavy, flight level 410.
For some reason, you can't see modern airliners while choosing aircraft. Do you mean in free flight or in career mode? In career mode, you just need to look through the certifications and specialization screens and look into those in detail and see what you're missing. If you're missing certain planes in free flight, you might need to go to your library and enable them.
128.325, couch 323.
Alright, we need to descend.
Boston Center, couch 323, flight level 240.
You can't see them in free flight. Yeah, go click on Marketplace and then click on Library at the top and go through all your content and make sure they're installed.
Lot 16 Mike Heavy. Contact Boston Center 128.2.
So they told us to expect the visual approach, but they didn't tell us to start descending, so I'm just going to do it myself. Ground speed's 246, 24 divided by 2 is 12. We'll go 12 to 1,300 feet per minute. I'll do 13 because we're late. And pull the throttle back this time. Or, because this plane's easy to overspeed, I could do flight level change for the descent instead. Turn the speed as high as I want to let it go, so the top of the green arc or so, like 180. And then pull the throttle out. And now, since we're locking the airspeed with flight level change mode, our throttle controls our vertical speed. At least that's how I think about it is. Since this is locked, throttle moves this up and down. So the more I reduce our airspeed, the faster we'll descend. You got another cat from the rescue? Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, cat, it's the M500. It's in the marketplace, like 30 bucks. Yeah, I was gonna say this plane isn't very fast. That's one of the things that might turn some people off from flying it. I mean, we're only cruising at 180 indicated. Like 250, 260. My ground speed's 256 right now in the descent, kind of at my maximum speed before the yellow. So that's not fast enough for some people, like especially for a turboprop. So if you want something that's faster than, like the Black Square TBM is faster. The TBM 930 that comes with the sim is faster. The Black Square TBM 850 is faster than that, I think, in 850 mode. What's up, Sherwin? Liveries for this? You mean couch captain? If we don't have any couch captain liveries for this, no. But it comes with like, I don't know, like 10 liveries or something. It comes with a bunch of liveries. And I think it has 2 types of liveries. They're like duplicated. So one is like for higher performance. So I think it like synchronizes 2 screens or something instead of making them independent. So there's like a higher performance one, I think, that they made for Xbox users. Alright, arrival METAR. One thing I always do is move this by accident. I feel like it's like high, it's like grabbing the... It's just a little weird how you move this thing around. I don't even need to move it. How do I update the METAR? We got 10 miles of visibility. 3029 will be the altimeter. As we pass through 18,000 feet. And I set up for the RNAV LPV for runway 32. So we get all the way down to 2,500 at the FAF, so just put that in. They said to expect a visual for runway 32, so we're all set up. Sync the heading bug. And it's got our destination elevation right there automatically, depressurizing. It's Manchester. Oh, you got an editor gig? Nice, JT. Not confirmed, though. That's exciting. You're using DaVinci Resolve?
Contact Portland approach 122.05.
DaVinci's pretty incredible for free. I mean, it's incredible no matter what, even if it was paid. I mean, you can get the paid version, but nice, nice. It's gonna start every beacon now. Green, white. All right, 16,000 feet. All right, I'm gonna slow my vertical speed and then try to catch up to the path. So we're going to Clow still. So I'm gonna go highlight Clow and hit VNav direct activate. Now we got a TOD in 5 seconds. Hit VNav, recalculated our TOD, and it's very steep. It's normally 3 degrees, so it's almost 4 degrees. So we're gonna have to pull the throttle back.
Couch 323. Contact Boston Center 123.75. Take
All right,
care.
1,400 feet per minute. I think it wants to go
Contact
down
Boston
faster than
Center
that.
123.75. Couch 323. Boston Center, Couch 323. Good evening. 15,300.
What's up, Blue Jay? 100% not watching at midnight. Fierce says I flew my flight from Jamaica to Philly today. It was a very pretty flight. Going into Philly, nice. What'd you fly, Fish? Has your sim been good now that you uninstalled Navigraph, right? Or not Navigraph, but just the AirX cycle? Weren't you crashing? Alright, we're still on the vertical path. Speed is good. Gotta deliver these fragile mechanical parts or whatever the heck. See, I can't see hooks light, I can't see overtie, law dog. I see one light over there. Yeah, see how like this plane is further than, oh, I see Gnome's light. Okay. Oh wait, I do see Law Dog's lights too. Okay. Alright, maybe I take it back. So I see Gnome, I see Law Dog's light, and I see this Beyond ATC flight right here, right above my cursor, going from left to right. There's I just see another one. Oh, there's another one right there. I see 2 white flash. Oh, that's Rookie. 2 white flashing lights. Kind of weird to see 2 white lights, isn't it? I see one way out there. Okay, I see Hook's light now. So I don't know how far Jonas or Overtie is. Overtie is 23 miles away. up here, but with no lights visible. But way, way out there, I see a plane super far out. Like, look, it's behind me. Let me see if I open the Beyond ATC map. So it's behind me a little bit to the right. And it'll be in the visible range. So it's this one right here then. So I don't know how far it is from me though. Endeavor 50 to 30. Oh, there's also this one going from right to left. Maybe it was that one. So there's one right there. And there's another one way down there. Oh, that one just disappeared. Okay, the one behind me just disappeared. So that was this one. Endeavor 5230. I wonder how far that range is. Boston Center, how far away from me is Endeavor 5230? I'll ask them how far away it is. Because I'm curious if I can figure out if injected traffic.
23. No information available on Endeavor 523. Closest traffic is Delta 1347. 27.7 miles at your 2 o'clock.
So they said this one in front of us. So this is the Delta. That's 27 miles in front of us. Boston, can you tell us what the furthest plane from us is? Yeah, this is 2024 SR.
23. The furthest aircraft is Southwest 3063. Boeing 737. Tree 0.8 miles at your 7 o'clock.
At my 7 o'clock? 30.7 miles? Where is it? There's one way down there. Yeah, that's not one of you guys. I think it's that one right there. It's super low. And what's the altitude of that flight that's the furthest from me? I think it's gone now. I think it just landed.
Couch Tree 23. Southwest Tree 063 is at an altitude of 24,000 feet.
Oh. At my 7 o'clock. There's one way over there. I mean, Overtie is only 18 miles from me, and I don't see his lights. Hook is only 4 miles from me, and I don't see his lights right now. I mean, it could be just because of the angle or something, but I feel like all the injected traffic is visible way further than multiplayer traffic. Like, look. There's one way out here I can see. 50 miles for AI traffic. Oh, damn. You measured 50 miles, so... Yeah, I mean, Hook is like 10 miles and I don't see his. No, he's 4 miles and I don't see his. This guy, Jonas, is 30 miles away. I don't see his. I do see Gnome. Gnome is right here, 7 miles. Law Dog is 2 miles. Oh, it's doing that weird thing with the zoom again. If I zoom out, the light disappears, which is fine. I guess that's what you'd expect a little bit. So I do see Law Dog still at 2 miles, but then oh yeah, okay, now I see Hook at 4 miles. So as soon as I zoom out a little bit, his light just disappears completely. It's so weird. I can turn his lights on and off. It's kind of strange. Anyway, I hope they can improve it like that. What's up, Barry? What do you mean clouds? Yep, we got clouds. All right, we're at 5,000 feet. People say to get it from Steam. It's up to you. if you get it through Xbox, you have the potential of using it on an Xbox if you get it from Microsoft Store. So you could use the same copy on an Xbox. You could also use, like, if you ever subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, you could do xCloud gaming. You could do,
Boston Center, JetBlue 1336.
yeah, I guess xCloud.
Descending via J Fund 2.
But then if you do Steam, you could do like
Flight
Steam
level
Remote
300.
Play as a thing, right? It's just a personal preference. There are pros and cons to each.
Boston Center.
I just happen to have mine through Microsoft. I just figured it was a Microsoft game. Buy it from the Microsoft Store. Alright, we're turning final. Let me go ahead and hit approach up here. Actually, I can't yet. We're still too far out. Yeah, I can't do it just yet. And we're gonna go down to 2500 at OMAS.
FedEx 1610 Heavy. Contact Boston Center 127.65.
Alright, sorry for the brightness. Minimum's 873.
7.65. FedEx 1610 Heavy.
2500 at OMAS. And 873. Alright, 880. Alright, there's the runway. Can I hit approach yet? There we go. Glide path. You have to wait for the
Blue Street 52.
little preview of the vertical guidance to show up. And we got LPV down here. Slowing down. Let's add a little power. Just a little bit. We're under 168 knots, so we can get the gear and flaps one down. Alright, let's see. Winds. We have a 10 knot headwind, 6 knots from the left. We're still at 2,800 feet. And if we go back to the weather, 3030 on the altimeter. Okay, that's set. It says winds are calm. This might be kind of buttery, we'll see. I think it'll be buttery. Alright, glide path. Got our vertical guidance. I'll pull the power out quite a bit so we can get into gear extension range. Get these to manual. We can turn the stall heat off. We got our lights on. Alright, ignition on, fuel pump on. Sync the heading bug straight ahead, and here comes a white brightness. Shield your eyes. Go around is 3,500 direct SIGPA. So I'll set 3,500 on our selected altitude. There we go. That's him. I've done it before, but yeah, I won't do it anymore. Not until they let people not use their real names. Exclamation VATSIM. Alright, let's get the gear down. Flaps 1. Here's the auto camera. Difference from ILS, RNAV, LNAV. It's really the difference between an ILS and RNAV landing. An LNAV landing is like a variation of an RNAV landing. But the difference is mainly either like ILS. An ILS landing uses radio-based navigation aids, the localizer and glide slope, through radio frequencies, radio signals that are emitted from them. Whereas the RNAV approaches use GPS or GNSS.
Delta 1347. Contact Boston approach.
And I am way too fast. Maybe this won't be butter.
Contact Boston approach.
I'm extremely fast.
1347.
How am I this fast? Alright, 136. Wasn't buttery. I lied. The landing rate info on the left is in the marketplace. It's just called landing rate. Okay, let me turn my lights away from the runway and stop here. So we can go watch some landings. I was coming in way too fast on that. Coming in hot. Displays threshold though. Hook was coming in fast just like me. I was coming in way too fast. Sim brief profile for the FSR. Yes, it's the P46T. Papa 46 Tango is the code. Is what free? The landing rate? I think it was like $5. I forget, 5 or 7, something like that. There's you can get some other landing rate ones for free though. There's one called G's that people use. It's a separate program, GEES. Or pretty much all of the career mode add-ons will also give you your landing rate. So, and so will things like Volanta and Elevate. Like here's Elevate X. So when I point here, you can see my landing rate right there, see? 135 feet per minute. So that also shows landing rate. Volanta will show your landing rate. When I complete the flight here in OnAir Company, it will show me a landing rate. I mainly just have that one just so it shows up on stream. So yeah, you do not have to pay for landing rate. Yeah, go for the free one. A lot of people use G's. I was trying G's, but I couldn't get it to show up right on my stream. And it was annoying. It had a little line on the left side. This little vertical line I couldn't unsee once I noticed it. And it wasn't consistently working for me, so I just... Yeah, when this one came out, I grabbed it, and it's working better. What's up, Tenchi? Oh, there's a plane over there. It's just fun looking up, and plane spotting now at night is really cool. Like, you could totally just sit at an airport and do plane spotting at nighttime with like live traffic turned on. It'd be pretty chill. Alright, let's get the landing light off, taxi light on, strobe light off, pitot heat off. These can go to auto and off. Alright, let's go park this thing. Jalapeno poppers? Hell yeah. You disinfected your PC? If you get Game Pass, can you pay third-party multiplayers? I don't know what you mean third-party. Do you mean the planes? If you get the sim through Game Pass, I'm pretty sure you'll get the standard edition, which I think has 70 planes. And I'm pretty sure you sign in with a Microsoft account, and you can buy stuff in the marketplace even through the Game Pass version. Like the stuff you buy in the marketplace is tied to your Microsoft account, just like the game would be if you bought it. Oh, you're the Vision Jet rookie? Did it show you in like the citation? Puts your community folder in a hard spot. The one from Microsoft Store is also in a difficult to find spot. But it's not a big deal because once you find it, you just pin it to your Windows sidebar in your Windows Explorer, like your File Explorer, and then you never have to think about it again. You just pin it to the sidebar and you're good to go. Both of them are kind of buried. The Microsoft one is, I'd say, more buried than the Steam one because it's in a hidden folder, that app data folder. Where's the parking at this place? Where am I going? Oh, here it is. This is a totally legal, and it's just a totally normal and fine taxi. Beautiful. Damn. Alright, let's turn this thing off. Off. Bleed air off. Flaps are up. Reset the pitch trim. There we go. Air conditioning off. Okay, taxi light off. And fuel pump off. Pull the mixture. Alright, I got my $1,800. This one said 107 feet per minute. That was a lot closer than the other. OnAirs and the Elevate and the one in the sim seem a lot closer, but in what they calculate for landing rate than the OnAir one. OnAir always seems a bit off. It seems more generous. But who knows? Maybe OnAir is the one that's right. Alright, feathering the prop automatically. Beautiful. Alternator generator off. Nav light off. Avionics off. I'm going to fly from here, so let's go down here and put the GPU on.
Contact Boston approach. JetBlue 1336.
Oh yeah, GPU connected. You look for 2 hours trying to find the community folder? There's a trick to find it, Rockin'. All you have to do is go to the home screen in the sim, click on Marketplace, then click on Library. When you're on your library screen, in the very top right corner, there's it's kind of like this area of the screen, like on the right top-ish area. There's a little tiny gear icon. Click the little gear settings icon, and in there it will have a open button or something that it'll automatically open your community folder. The little cog setting, yeah. In there's a button that will open your community folder for you. And then after you do that, go up one folder from inside the community folder so you see the community folder. And then you can right click on community folder and say pin to sidebar or pin to quick access. And that will put it in your Windows Explorer sidebar. And then you can always get to it really easily. All right, let's find another mission. I got to turn it to daytime. I can't anymore. It's so dark. Shield your eyes. The sun's coming up, everyone. It looks so much better with the sun out. I mean, nighttime is cool, but I like to see all the pixels. We're paying for all these pixels, and I don't want them all just to be black. I want to see I want to see the pixels. Light mode enabled. All right, Law Dog, good to see you, man. Thanks for flying along. I see you over there in your Aurora skin. What's IFR and VFR flight? Yeah, VFR means visual flight rules. You have to see where you're going. Fly using your eyeballs, basically. IFR lets you fly in bad weather and night, and nighttime's a little bit different, but in bad weather through clouds without being able to see anything using just your instruments. So visual flight rules versus instrument flight rules. Pilots will like learn VFR first because it's easier. You look outside. You cannot go into clouds. So you're flying visually with visual references with your eyeballs. And then they can get their instrument rating after that, typically, and then their instrument rating is lets them fly IFR, instrument flight rules. So they can fly through bad weather. They can fly only looking at their instruments for the vast majority of the flight, excluding like the takeoff and the landing. You know, they can use them to a certain point until they have to have a visual of the runway to land. There's also differences with your filed flight plan and ATC. So like if you're flying VFR, visual flight rules, you do not have to be talking to ATC for every turn, every altitude change, all that stuff. You basically can fly whatever. There are rules you have to follow, like you have to abide by airspace rules. You have to avoid being in restricted airspace. Airspace is for the airspace surrounding other airports. And you basically have to carve your path that way legally through the airspace on a VFR flight and avoiding weather and clouds. Because you're a little more free and unrestricted in a way, you do not have to file a like fully like waypoint by waypoint flight plan with ATC. But you can call ATC and get to what's called like basic service, or I think it's called basic service outside of the US or something. Or in the US we call it flight following. And that will, if ATC has the bandwidth to support you and give you flight following services, they will tell you about traffic advisories and stuff like that. Tell you to look for traffic, there are planes approaching you, those kind of things to keep you safer. And then they'll like pass you off to the tower frequency when you get close to your destination, all that kind of stuff. IFR flight plans are way more hand-holdy with ATC. They know your exact flight plan. They control your altitude step by step. You have an assigned altitude. You need to go exactly where they tell you to at all times. They'll give you headings. They'll tell you to go directly to waypoints. They'll change your flight plan sometimes. They'll, you know, you tell them when you're ready to descend. You just don't do anything without their say-so. But that makes it actually like easier because they clear you through all the airspace, potentially like restricted zones, potentially TFRs, potentially military space. Like they coordinate all of the airspace stuff for you so you don't have to think about it. It's actually, I think it's easier to fly IFR. And I usually use IFR. And mainly because like I use Beyond ATC for my ATC, and once they do VFR, they haven't done VFR support yet, but I will probably do VFR flights a lot when Beyond ATC supports it. But I pretty much do IFR. IFR is just a lot easier. I mean, you can fly in any weather. Like if you're flying VFR, you need to be a lot more weather conscious just because you can't legally fly towards clouds, like in clouds. You could get stuck on top of clouds. It's a lot more restrictive. So it's kind of a lot more work. And I'm not a real pilot, I'm just a sim pilot, but even in the sim, it feels like a lot more work. All right, so we got our GPU on. Oh yeah, then you also asked like difference between ILS landings and a VFR approach. I mean, like a VFR approach that's just like, it's different than like a visual approach, but a VFR, like a standard approach, you just fly the traffic pattern. So if you're talking to a tower, if it's a towered airport you're flying to, they're going to give you instructions on how to land at the airport. And they'll do that for an IFR flight plan too, but generally, like, you'll already know your approach before you talk to the tower. But on a VFR flight plan, they'll say something generally based on the traffic pattern. So if you look up traffic pattern, you'll see like this racetrack pattern around an airport, and each airport has a certain direction that racetrack flows, usually left-hand turns, but some are right-hand turns depending on where they are in the world and the terrain around them. But they'll say something like enter left downwind for runway 13. And that's code for which part of the racetrack you're going to enter on to make those turns to eventually turn a couple times to line up and land on runway 13 or whatever runway they assign you. So that's like a VFR approach. It's just a traffic pattern approach. Or maybe if you're far out, they'll just say like, oh yeah, turn on this heading for a straight in approach because you're far out from the airport and kind of lined up already. You'll have a straight in approach for runway 13. You don't have to enter the racetrack pattern. You just come in from a distance and land straight in. And ILS is a type of instrument approach. So IFR flying, instrument rated pilots, instrument flight rules. ILS approaches are the most common airline approach type, and they use radio navigation aids, literal radio frequencies, radio transmissions in the air, picked up by your plane to guide it down to align with the runway and to descend down to the runway. So that's an ILS approach. It's very, very accurate. And I would say I don't know how often it is in the real world, but it's kind of the go-to highly precise instrument approach. And there are 3 different categories of ILS approaches. Category 3 ILS approaches are like auto land with no visibility. So a pilot in an Airbus or a Boeing or a plane that supports auto land approaches, Cat 3 ILS approach, that's like the best thing you can do in terms of it's not the best. I mean, it could be like a hard landing with an auto land system, but it'll let you land literally with no visibility, which is insane. But yeah, ILS, it's instrument landing system. It's a radio-based navigation approach. That's different than like an RNAV or a GNSS or GPS powered approach. So if you look up an RNAV approach, like in your chart, so we just did an RNAV approach on this one. So you can see up here, it says RNAV GPS for runway 32. It tells me that it's a WAAS approach. So this is specific to the United States. This is, it's essentially a GPS, a beefed up GPS approach that has more capability. But this is a GPS approach, RNAV GPS approach. And down here, there are little subcategories of that approach depending on how good your GPS reception and capabilities are. Whenever you see this LPV one, LPV is like an ILS essentially. It's like the equivalent of an ILS approach, but this uses GPS instead of the radio navigation. This one happens to bring us as low as 328 feet above the ground. So this one's a little higher than normal LPV approaches. Normally, they'll get you down to 250 feet above the ground. An ILS approach, the non-auto land one, will usually give you about 200 feet above the ground. So this is still very precise and good. If your equipment is not getting a good enough GPS signal, it will essentially fall back to less precise approaches like LNAV, VNAV, or LNAV, and you can see these numbers go up. So this is how low you can go on that approach until you need to see the runway visually. So if there's really, really bad weather, fog, rain, whatever, low clouds, overcast, if you cannot see the runway within 1 mile, that's the dash here is 1 mile, or when you're 328 feet above the ground, then you cannot land at that airport. And then here you can see these numbers go up. So in the sim, it doesn't do this. Anytime you have an LPV approach, it'll give it to you. You can see mine was on the LPV approach. So I could take it all the way down to 873 feet. That's sea level. That's what this shows, which is 300 above the ground, 328 above the ground. The sim will always give you the best available approach. It does not simulate crappy GPS signal or any kind of interference that would degrade you to these other approaches. But if it did, these other approaches, you can't go down as low, see? This one goes at 328 feet above the ground. This one's at 743 feet above the ground. But yeah, you can think of like RNAV as like RNAV is GPS based approaches, and ILS and some other ones are radio navigation based. They use radio frequencies instead of GPS. How's RNAV RNP? So RNP is like it's basically like an airliner only type of approach. It stands for required navigation performance. Pilots that have things like the Garmin's, you know, like these ones available for just like regular GA pilots and non-airliner pilots, avionics, can do like GPS approaches. It's kind of like basic ones. RNP is like an even crazier level of precision with the approach. So if you see RNAV, RNP, generally that's going to mean that you can only fly that with like an airliner. So if you're flying a plane like this plane is not able to do an RNP approach with a Garmin. This plane can only do GPS approaches, which are or GNSS, you know, like in the US, GNSS is GPS, but worldwide, yeah, GNSS, like a satellite-based navigation system. But RNP approaches are pretty nuts. Like if you look up an RNP approach, because of how like sophisticated the equipment is and how accurate it is, you can have these insane GPS powered approaches that take you in like in and around terrain, curving and just lining up with the runway at the last possible moment. So if you look through, like, I don't actually know offhand what a good RNP approach is. Do you guys remember that there's a name of this airport we flew to in Western Canada, like in BC, CYXX, Abbotsford? So if you look up one of these airports and the approaches and find an RNP approach, I think this is a bug. Look, it's not. This is the wrong. I think it's because I have to, yeah, this is still an existing bug. I have to go into a US airport, change it to Lido, and then go back and look at another. It was like stuck in FAA charts basically. Okay, yeah, so here's an approach. So we look for an RNAV. See how it says RNAV, GPS, and then all of a sudden RNP. So we look through these RNP approaches. Let's see, this one's not too curvy. Maybe one going the other direction. Here we go. See how this curves around through the terrain? Like these short little legs. Here, and then for the runway. So this isn't too crazy, but some RNP approaches are like snake-like paths through terrain at low altitude, weaving in and out of the mountains. So they're like these extreme precision approaches. So if you fly the airliners, it's cool. Like, I haven't done this before, but it'd be cool to hunt for crazy RNP approaches. The minimums for these have these numbers that are based on the accuracy. I think this is this like 0.1. What unit is this? Is this in miles, 0.1 miles, or is it less than that? But essentially, when you're flying the plane, this is telling you what your required navigation performance is. Essentially how accurate your equipment is at that moment, how accurately it can fly along this route. And the better accuracy you have, you can see the lower you can take the approach. Why does the EFB look like it has so much more info than the games? This is in the game, but these are real world resources. So this is like a real world Lido chart. You can see it's from a year ago, just for simulation use. So they have, like, you know, agreements with Lufthansa and with the FAA, like they market flight sim only. It's an outdated chart, but generally it's gonna work fine for the sim, even with new nav data. Yeah, these are built into Flight Sim 24 now. You have FAA charts, you have Lido charts, so all around the world you have charts. Should probably do another flight. But yeah, the RMP ones are cool. So the takeaway is like VFR, fly with your eyes. IFR, fly with your instruments. When you're flying IFR, you have a super detailed flight plan. You could have procedures like departure, arrival procedures, and instrument approach procedures. Instrument approach procedures include things like the ILS, RNAV approaches, ones that'll get you down to really low on the ground, right lined up with the runway, so you can fly in much worse weather. How do you find the LIDO charts in the EFB? So say I'll just reset the whole EFB. I'll just hit reset here. We are at, what's this airport? I already forgot I forgot where I'm at. Let me check over here. KOR something. Was it Quartz? Oh, KORE. So say I'm going from KORE to somewhere else. So we're at KORE right here. Let's pick an airport that's got a blue icon. Those are like more major airports. So we'll just go to Newark. Newark is right down here. So I'm just going to do this route. So we'll just expand this. We'll type in KORE. And then I'll go down and put in Newark, KEWR. And then I'm going to hit find route. So Jet Airways can go up really, really high. We can go into the Jet Airways, but I'll just choose Victor Airways to keep it lower. And I'll just hit find route. And so this is going to do it by default. If you pick if you don't pick VFR, it's going to assume you're flying IFR. So this has told us what runway to go from, which runway to take off from based on the weather. It's added an arrival procedure. This is an IFR procedure toward the end of our flight, like the second half of our flight. And look, it's automatically chose the approach for us as well, which is the ILS. Something really cool with the EFB is if you do your flight planning through the EFB like this, like I just did, and auto find the route, or you can even do it yourself. You can hit change and choose all your procedures, ILS, RNAV, whatever, but it'll choose them for you. If you do it this way, then it will automatically pin any available LIDO charts for you immediately. So when it chooses these, or you choose these procedures, if you hit this little clipboard, this is the knee board where your pinned charts are. You can pin charts here yourself, but when you do this, it will automatically pin as many charts as it can. So there are no LIDO charts available at this airport, unfortunately, but Newark is a larger airport, has a lot of commercial flights going into it, so it has LIDO charts. You can see that it's pinned the arrival for us already. This is our arrival procedure, and you can hit the dark light mode button up here for LIDO charts. This is the arrival procedure for us. That's part of our flight plan. And then if I go back again, it recommended ILS for runway 22 right. So here I can look up the ILS chart for runway 22 right. So that's the most automated way to do it. If you did it yourself though, say I needed to look up, say I was flying to Los Angeles, you could either, here, I'll just reset it so we can do that. Say we're going to go like KORE to Los Angeles. We're not going to fly that far, of course, but if you put them in here, you can hit the little info button as a shortcut to look up that airport's details. So if I click the info next to core, it does the same thing as if I went here to the map and typed in core and clicked it. So it goes to that info, and down here it pins it as my selected airport, so I can conveniently get back to the info for that airport. This second button down here is the charts. So I can go between LIDO and FAA charts in the bottom right. You can go look at departure, arrival, approach, airport. You can see there's no airport chart even for this little tiny airport. So you can do it manually like that. I can go to KLAX. As soon as I click this, watch this KORE, it'll now pin KLAX. So here I can click charts. And since LAX is a huge airport, we have a ton of charts. These are all the FAA charts. FAA charts will be available anywhere in the US. Not anywhere, but most airports in the US, especially non-private airports, right? Like more public airports, and especially ones that aren't super, super tiny, will have FAA charts. So you can look those up. And since it's also like a big commercial traffic airport, there's also LIDO charts. So they're just two different chart formats. So if we look at the airport diagram, this is the FAA one. We go back and go to LIDO and click on the ground chart. That's kind of the equivalent. This is the LIDO chart. So they have differences in their formats, but they'll have like the same information, just displayed differently. So if you do the flight planning through this, it'll pin the charts for you automatically, as many as it can. Sometimes it won't pin them. It won't be able to find the right chart, and you'll have to go in and dig for it yourself. you can at least hit the little info button to quickly get to that airport information. So you can get the weather, which runways are recommended, click for the runway info. Look, it's got the ILS frequency, the length of the runway, the magnetic heading of the runway is what we're interested in for flying. Magnetic, not true direction, but magnetic direction. So yeah, hopefully that helps out. Why are LPV minimums sometimes lower than RNP? I don't know. It's a good question. It probably depends on how sketchy the terrain is around it, but I've barely flown RMP myself, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, LPV approaches can get you down to like 250 feet above the ground, which is awesome. It probably has to do with the speed of the plane too. Maybe the terrain, like what the last turn they made was. I don't really know. That's something for me to learn. I don't know. Sometimes you don't get charts for a few ILS flights. Why? Third-party charter apps. So that does happen sometimes, yeah. There are times when like you're in the plane and you'll look up, you'll be here and hit procedures, and you'll go and do select approach, and you'll find that there's an ILS approach available here in the database, but then you go to the EFB and there's no chart for it. That can happen. I don't know if it's just a bug. Something you could do, like if you're flying in the United States, you can just go, I used to do this all the time, and just go to skyvector.com. You could go directly to the FAA, and like all of the FAA charts are publicly available. But if you go to SkyVector, this is like a real pilot tool. So don't sign up for an account and file a flight plan, like you'll get in big trouble. I just would recommend just not even signing up for an account, because we're just simmers. But you can look here, like you can type in, just like we did there, I can type like, you know, Newark to LAX or whatever. It even has recommended routes. Like this one isn't really going to work too well. Yeah, okay, it's got some recommended routes I can click on here. But if you click on or point at Newark, Los Angeles, see it's got shorthand, a little shortcut to get to the FAA charts. So if you click one of these, this is loading the FAA charts, just like the EFB does for us. And if you click on the little PDF button, it'll just give you a PDF of that. So you can like zoom in, you can open them all in different tabs, you can, you know, print them out, whatever you're going to do. But these are all publicly available from the FAA. So another website you can use is ChartFox. Like I just used that the other day because I didn't have a chart in Canada. So if you go to ChartFox, you have to sign up for a free VATSIM account to use it. So I keep making fake VATSIM accounts because I don't use VATSIM. Oh, I was signed in. Whoops. Anyway, if you sign in there and you can enter an airport name, it'll do its best to find whatever publicly available charts there are for you worldwide. So this is another way to find publicly available charts. So I did this when we went to an airport in Canada. There was no FAA chart, of course, because it wasn't in the US. There was no LIDO chart because it wasn't a big enough airport to have a LIDO chart made for it. So this is another way to find those charts. But because of all of that, that's a reason why Navigraph is very popular. Navigraph, which does have its own EFB app. I don't have it installed, but you can use it through the EFB. You can use it through the top toolbar. You can use it through a Windows app. So I actually have the Windows app if I open that. This is a standalone Windows app you can use for Navigraph. They have an iPad app, you know, an Android app, a phone app. You can install it everywhere and see your plane on it, see where you're at. And then the big benefit to this is not just the chart software, but it gives you access to a chart provider called Jeppesen. They make charts available worldwide at a huge variety of airports. So it's like having a huge global database of charts. So, for example, here at this airport that we're at right now, there is no FAA chart for this airport for the ground chart. So if I go to KORE and I go here and I go to FAA, we have the approach, right? We have the RNAV approach and this VOR approach. But look, there's no airport chart. I can actually check real quick to see if this is a bug. Like if I go to SkyVector again, go to airports, look up KORE. This is all the data for KORE. Scroll down. You can see that we do not have an airport chart. This is a little supplemental chart. So there's no like actual full screen airport chart. Now, if we go back to Navigraph and I look up that airport, I go to search, type in KORE and click on the charts button and then go to, where am I? Oh, taxi. Look, we have an airport chart. So it's the same airport. Jeppesen has an airport diagram for this tiny airport we're at. The FAA does not. Lido does not. So this is why not only Jeppesen charts like in real life are popular. It's like gives you a consistent format for many, many countries, like worldwide, you know. In the real world, you have to pay for Jeppesen charts. I think my girlfriend said they were like $200 just for the continental US for a year, maybe. I don't know if it's a subscription or one time. It's probably a subscription because they need to get updated, right? So we get them for $100 for simulator use. Worldwide charts, not just for one country. So, you know, you can look up, you know, whatever, wherever you're flying in the entire world for the sim. I can just go look up Heathrow, get all of the charts for Heathrow, you know, like, so that's why Navigraph is really popular when you run into these situations where there are no charts available. Or you're tired of going and looking for public charts through ChartFox, FAA, you know, Lido. And then in addition, there's a lot of stuff that integrates with Navigraph, like most of the airliners. This plane even has Navigraph charts built in. So that's how I pulled this chart up. It's the same thing as using the Navigraph app here and pulling up the same charts. So, yeah, that's, it's really convenient. And you have one chart format, right? Like the FAA charts look a certain way. The Lido charts look a different way. The Jeppesen charts look a different way. You have 3 different formats now. You find a local chart for a Canadian airport. That's going to have its own format. So every chart has its own format. So that's what's cool about Jeppesen is it's worldwide charts, kind of like Lido. It has a consistent format throughout the world, but the Jeppesen charts also have smaller charts at much smaller airports. Not necessarily every airport, but yeah. The difference between ATIS and METAR? Okay. ATIS gives you weather reporting that includes information about that specific airport's operations, whereas a METAR is just a straight up weather report. So, let's see, do we have an ATIS here? So we go to our flight planner. And we go to orange here. I'm just going to click info and frequencies. So we have no weather available here. What's the nearest airport to us? So we have KCEF, KORH, maybe this one. Okay, so we have an ATIS frequency here. I'll hit set and then we'll see if I get it through beyond ATC. Probably won't. Let's see if we get it here. If I go to sound and turn on the default ATC. Yeah, 126.550. It's not tuning it. There's a bug. 126.550. Might be just way too far for us to hear it. How I think of it is like ATIS is made for pilots to listen to when they're flying to that airport, and it gives them information in a more accurate way and gives you more information about the airport itself. So if we listen to the ATIS for this airport, it will give us the wind. Like we can also see the METAR, right? Here's the METAR. The METAR is the text here. There are some big differences. So like the ATIS will have a format where it reads stuff out over voice for you. Like you could get it digitally with certain equipment, but generally you're going to tune in and listen to the voice recording of the ATIS. It'll either be recorded by a real human and updated generally every hour, just like a METAR is, or it will be part of a text-to-speech thing where you'll hear like Microsoft Bob or whatever the heck. You'll hear the robotic voice reading it back to you. But the ATIS is going to give you not only the weather information, it's going to give you information about the airport operations, like which runways they're landing and departing on, which runways are active, what approaches they might be using, if there are cranes in the vicinity, birds in the vicinity, if taxi, like no TAMs are usually for taxis, so, but any extremely important information, including the weather and the runways, they will have in the ATIS report that's, you know, updated roughly every hour, sometimes more often. In the METAR, though, looking at the METAR, you do not get any information about what runways are actually in use. You also, there's a big distinction with the wind as well. If you see the wind on a METAR, the METAR reports wind based on true direction, true heading, not magnetic heading. When you listen to the ATIS, it reports the wind in magnetic heading. And when you're flying using magnetic heading. So if the winds are reported in true and you see 250 at 9 knots here, you're thinking, okay, the wind's coming from 250. But that's wrong because this is magnetic direction, magnetic heading. It doesn't account for the magnetic variation of that part of the world. True does not. So to convert a METAR, a true wind direction, to a magnetic wind direction, we need to know that magnetic variation for that airport. Luckily, the easy way to do that in the EFB is just go to runways. For the same airport, I go to runways. See how it says winds are 9 knots, 250? If we open up runway 29, that's the closest to 25. You can see it's recommended. We have an 8 knot headwind and a 4 knot crosswind. The difference is shown right here, though. The true heading of that runway is 274. The magnetic direction or heading of that runway is 288. So that's a pretty big difference. That's 14 degrees difference, right? So we're not going to be getting winds from 250. The winds are going to be different, right? It's not from 250 at 9. We have to convert true, 250 from true to magnetic. The difference between this number and this number is plus 14, right? 274 to 288. We're adding 14 to get magnetic. So we need to add 14 to the METAR wind to get magnetic. So 250 becomes 264. So the wind's not coming from here. The wind's actually coming from here, right? It's like a slight difference, but that could be the difference between in high winds, say we're flying this direction for the runway. It could be the difference between us having a perfect headwind to having also a few knots of crosswind. And if the wind's heavier and heavier and heavier, that becomes more magnified, right? If the wind's stronger and stronger. You could be like, oh my God, oh yes, it's 250 for runway 25. It's perfect. It's a 25 heading and 250 winds, but it turns out it's actually like a 20-degree difference and it's gusting 20 or something. Then suddenly you're dealing with a gusting crosswind slightly that you weren't expecting. You know what I mean? Ground instruction. Mock Turtlenecks here, who's a real pilot. And there's probably other real pilots like either cringing or nodding along. Hopefully more of the latter. Anyway, ATIS is from the actual airport. Oh, METAR is GPS. I don't know exactly where. I don't know what the source of the METAR is. There are also differences between ATIS and then AWOS and ASOS, or three variations. ATIS is the only one of those that's going to have information about the actual airport operations, like the runways. Whereas AWOS and ASOS, you do listen to you can tune in and listen with voice, but they're more like getting a METAR, but they will have magnetic winds instead of true wind direction. So I think this saying is like if it's true if you read it or something like that. So you remember, if you're reading it, it's a METAR, then it's true. The wind is true. But I guess that's a little ambiguous now that like there are things like digital ATIS, so you can get the ATIS readout. Like you can do with VATSIM, you double click to get the ATIS, or Pilot Edge, you go to their site and get the ATIS. So digital ATIS, it would be an ATIS even though you're reading it, so the winds would be magnetic, not true. So anyway, if any of that's wrong, you guys please correct me. I think it's pretty accurate. How do you get Navigraph charts on the toolbar? Well, when you subscribe to Navigraph, they actually give you an installer program. You just run their program. It's called Navigraph Hub. And that program will that program will manage it all for you. It'll tell you when there are updates. You just one click to install everything. It's got plugins for avionics. It's got updated navigation data. It's got the EFB charts app. It's got the toolbar charts app. It's got, you know, it can update other software like the TTSNXI, that avionics software database can be updated with it. Like, there's a separate area to click to update your Phoenix A320's data, but yeah, it just has a full installer where it installs all that stuff for you, and you can just open it periodically and see if there are updates. Oh, right back. Yeah, I didn't mention that about ATIS. So the thing about ATIS is that it has a letter code associated with the weather report and the info you're listening to. So if you hear information delta, information, you know, ATIS information golf, that means that update is just given the letter G. And when it's updated again within the next hour or so, it will have the next letter. It just goes sequentially A to Z and then loops back around to A. So if you're say you're sitting here and you're preparing for your flight, you're going to listen to the ATIS if it's available, and you're going to get the latest weather report from the ATIS, and you're going to write down what code it is, that letter code. So it'd be like A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. You're going to write down that code like, okay, the information is Golf right now. By the time you're taxiing, if that changes, you may hear the controller come on and say, attention all aircraft, information hotel is now current. That means it's no longer G, it's moved on to H. The weather report, the ATIS, has been updated. That's a clue to you to get the new weather. So now you'll go listen to the ATIS again if you can, and you'll get the new weather report, the new winds, if the runways have changed, which ones are in use, all that kind of stuff. And they'll also check in with you and expect you to tell them that you have the latest weather. So for example, if you're flying to an airport, you contact the controller, like the tower, you may say something like, you know, John Wayne Tower, blah, you know, blah, blah, ILS 35, we have Golf. Or I think it might be more for VFR flying. But they'll say information blah is current, and you'll say we have blah. We have Golf, we have whiskey, whatever the letter code is, to let them know what weather you're basing all of your flying on and your approach on, and what wind you're expecting and all that. And if it's wrong, they'll be like, oh, you know, Golf is current, India is current, Juliet is current. They'll notify you that, hey, your weather's out of date, get the new weather. So that's why that code is so useful. Just with one letter, or, you know, the phonetic word for that letter, you know if you have the current weather or not. And you'll hear beyond ATC sometimes. I'll be like taxiing, and it'll be like, attention. It's like, all pilots, you know, information X-ray is now current. And I'll be like, oh man, okay. But then sometimes they'll say like, information X-ray is now current, altimeter 29 or 9 or 5. So you're like, okay, now I know my new altimeter setting, so I'll update that to what they just told me. And if I can, I'm going to go listen to the ATIS, get the new winds and all that before I take off or land. Anyway, okay. I think we've been talking. What time is it? Oh my god, it's 10 p.m. Can I do it? I need to do another one. Okay, so I'll close Navigraph. Let me find a new job here. Anyway, if there are real pilots or, you know, the people smarter than me, please, if any of that's wrong or I missed stuff, like Back said, I missed the ATIS code, tell people so we can all learn. Okay, let me find another flight here. It was barely sunrise. Now it's probably noon in the game. I've been yapping so long. What third-party GA planes do I recommend? Yeah, FSReborn's great. Black Square. If you don't like glass cockpits, then Black Square makes a lot of really cool planes. I think most, if not all, are sold on the Just Flight website. Maybe Contrail. I'm not sure if they sell them there too. Black Square is a great developer. If you want, like, one of the most realistic GA planes people love is the Comanche, the A2A Comanche. It's like the Phoenix of GA planes. Like, you have to sump the engine fuel, check for contaminants. Like, it's extremely realistic. You do a full walk around mode. Now, I'm not 100% sure on which ones are good in 2024 yet. I believe the Comanche works in 24. Some of the black square planes don't. Like the Turbine Duke does. I've flown that a bunch. But I haven't really touched the other black square planes, so you might need to figure out which ones are good for 24 if you're in 24. Just Flight also makes really good planes. Like the Just Flight Arrows are great. The Warrior is good. They make a... they made a Tomahawk, which is really cool. Yes, Cows. Cows is another great developer. They make the Diamond DA-40 and the DA-42. They're both incredible. Really good planes. I believe those are both updated for 2024. Like they're 2020 planes, but they're updated to work with 24. Yeah, those are amazing as well. Any twin props besides the C90? Yeah, I mean the King Air. Yeah, so you're in the King Air C90. You could do the 350, but the avionics are weird. I like the black square Turbine Duke. If you want something, the C90 has more glass cockpit feeling, like it has like airliner avionics. If you want something with more analog controls in a twin, I'd get the black square Turbine Duke. That's one of my favorites. Black square Turbine Duke is awesome. Or you can get the Piaggio. Look at the Piaggio P180. That thing is relatively new, and that thing is a rocket ship. It's got a push propeller setup, so the props aim backwards. It's crazy. It's a really good plane too, Piaggio. There's just too many planes. There's so many things to pick. With Navigraph, you get the full installer only with a paid subscription. Is there a free Navigraph subscription? I actually don't know. I've never done the free one. What does it say you get with free? Like free, Navigraph owns SimBrief, so you get, if you make a Navigraph account, you can use SimBrief for free. That might be the only free part of it. I'm pretty sure you have to get Navigraph Ultimate to get the installer, to get the plugins, to get the JEP charts, all the apps, all that stuff. Oh yeah, Blackbird Cessna 310, yep. The Simware, well, we were just doing the, is it Fly Simware 414? The 414 Chancellor. I was flying that the other day. That's another one. People love that. These are ones that people generally say they love too, not just ones that I love. Like I always hear about the people love the 414. They love the 310. They love the Piaggio. And yeah, the M500, like I love this plane, but this isn't for everybody. I mean, I think this is kind of an ugly plane too, by the way. Like it's like weird. It looks like crushed almost. It's kind of not that great a looking plane. I just love the feature. And look at this giant long nose. It's kind of an ugly plane, I think. But it's kind of slow too. But there's just, you know, I love the detail in this plane. This thing is really fun. I've blown up the engine on this and had smoke coming from it so often. Yes, the Corvallis. Yeah, for default planes, I love the Corvallis, the SR-22. I think the Max is good. The Longitude, the CJ4. There's so many. We are so spoiled with Flight Sim. The planes in Flight Sim, the default planes are so good compared to like the ones I've flown in X-Plane. Here to go broke. Oh yeah, welcome to Flight Sim. You're definitely going broke. If you can, if you're an impulsive purchaser, then Flight Sim's not a great hobby. Or if you have a very strict budget, it's not a great hobby to get into if you can't control yourself. Alternatives to the Caravan for OnAir Company. You could do the PC-12. PC-12 is faster than the Caravan. And it's usable in career mode too. And you don't have to... PC-12 is good enough to fly in free flight mode. You don't have to worry about the oxygen issue. That only affects career mode. Flight Sim 24 career mode. So yeah, the Caravan. You could even... I haven't flown it that much, but you could try the Sky Courier. It's like the twin Caravan. The 408. I haven't flown that one much myself. I think there's been a bunch of bug fixes with it. I don't think I'm ever gonna do a flight. We're just all here chilling and chatting. It's kind of nice actually, not having to fly the airplane. All right, here's one, CT96. I'm gonna do daytime, so this is a much smaller airport. Looks like it has lights. Oh, this one's 3,000 bucks. To go 100 miles with 5 passengers, I'm doing this one. KHWV, Brookhaven, size 1. All right, so I'll accept that. We'll go over here and prep the plane. Hit fly now. And I put the code up here for SimBrief, so I'm just going to click SimBrief Dispatch. It's going to open up SimBrief in my web browser and pre-fill all that data for me. So it's got the weight and balance and all that. And I'll put in my call sign I want to use with Beyond ATC. Core to KHWV. I don't know if it does this perfectly or not. See, it says 5 passengers, 331 pounds. I think this is going to be wrong because of how the weights work. Because the zero fuel weight is 4907, and I think this probably makes it more than that. So I'm going to turn this to auto. I need to submit this to the OnAir company team and ask them to change how they do this. All they need to do is put in the zero fuel weight. It would make it a lot more reliable. Wait, 4907. Oh, it's more than our max zero fuel weight we can even take. All right, well, we're gonna end up dumping a little fuel. All right, generate flight. Oh, sorry, I was doing that over here. I just put in zero fuel weight in the field. Shadow, thanks for 5 gifted subs, dude. Holy crap. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that. That's a bunch of money. I appreciate that, dude. Welcome to the 5 new couch captains. Welcome, Ba, Riyab, Heist, Sunny, and Messinator.
5 new couch captains. What is this amateur hour?
What?
Now Shadow Gallery. You magnificent donkey. Thank you for keeping this pathetic excuse for a stream afloat. You're the only bloody reason.
Thanks
We're
a lot.
not all eating beans on toast tonight.
That's true. You're the reason we're not eating beans on toast tonight. Look, I gotta pull the fuel down a lot back. Boy, back me up. JT doesn't want to get banned. Oh, she just broke in. Where is she? I gave her a bath today. She should be very happy. All right, let's pull this down. This is just constantly giving me way too much weight. I'm a little worried we're not going to have enough. Oh, yeah. I don't know if zero fuel is enough. Crap. It's too much. Get out of here.
The BorkCoin was one bar. I'm the wicked.
Quiet. She's in here yelling at me. So I don't think I can do this mission, or I have to come back for the passengers, maybe. Maybe I don't take the passengers. For this to work, I have to drop all of that and yeah, I need to come back for one more passenger, I guess. So maybe I'll do that. KHWV, it's a KORE. I'll have to make my way back. Alright, let's just do maximum fuel. So we're leaving one person behind and all of the specialist equipment festival attendees. Let me go just make sure everything's okay in the other room. Sorry guys, be right back. Alright, everything's fine. She just here yelling at me because I gave her a bath earlier and she didn't like it. Alright, let me turn the time up. We'll go +4 hours, and I'm only taking part of the people. I'm leaving one person and 300 pounds of stuff behind. Yeah, she's fighting off an intruder. Nah, we're all good. Okay, now we'll start tracking. All right, so because I did this SimBrief flight plan, we'll import it into the app. Yeah, the tracking is working. Import it into ElevateX. And I'm flying the 46 Tango. All right, that's all set. And then we can just go into the EFB app here. Go to the SimBrief. And then this was my old flight plan, so I'm going to go home and then view to refresh it. There we go. KHWV to core to KHWV. Teterboro is the alternative. Do you need ElevateX? It's like a flight tracker, and it gives you... The nice thing about ElevateX is like you can get taxiway diagrams, and you can add your friends and see where other people on it are flying. Volanta is another option that's been around a lot longer, but ElevateX is kind of the new guy in the block. But they're both free. ElevateX is totally free. Volanta has a paid option for more features, but I mean, just you might want to limit how many things you're getting to start. You know, just do like one thing at a time until you're used to it. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty overwhelming. Oh yeah, the pilot asking for flight following. I think they might have fixed that in Sim Update 3 with the default ATC. I'd have to look through the release notes again, but I think they might have fixed it. Okay, so now that we're just looking at SimBrief in the EFB, you can hit import route if you wanted to take this flight plan down here, this route, and it'll take it and automatically try to put it in the regular flight planner here, which it looks like it might have. All right, so here's the route that I got. And then if I just compare it to this, yeah, runway 1, direct Spino, then we go on the airway, the 315, then the Tango 303, exit at Belt, and runway 15 is expected. And I'll just choose the RNAV for 15. You can either go to CCC or Loyen. Okay, this Loyen one is right here. Yeah, that's perfect. So we'll do Loyen. All right, and then I'm going to import. With this plane, you can import the SimBrief from here on their custom tablet, and that'll put it into the avionics. All right, now that I have SimBrief done, I can also turn on Beyond ATC. So I'll hit escape, confirm, and then reload. Because Beyond ATC loads your latest SimBrief flight plan. That's how that works. You thought you needed ElevateX, Volanta, and stuff to get all the EFB stuff? I mean, you don't really need anything, especially if you're just starting. Like, I would not get any extra until you know that you need it. Because there is so much to do and learn in it. Like, the EFB is already so powerful with getting charts and stuff like that. Especially if you're flying at larger airports. I mean, this is already enough to get used to. Like, once you outgrow this kind of thing and you need more charts, or you want something on your tablet or your phone, or you're flying the Phoenix, you need to update its database, like, then you can consider Navigraph. Until, like, this map is not enough for you to taxi where you need to, you don't necessarily need to be using Volanta or ElevateX. Volanta and ElevateX are nice just because it's kind of like a separate logbook in a way of all of your flights. So you don't have to worry about losing all of your flights if you like to keep all of them. Like our flights in 2020 logbooks are gone. You know, they're separate. They were not imported into 2024. But if I look at my Volanta or my, ElevateX now, I have all that data in there because I tracked it in that separate program. But I would try to avoid getting too many things too quickly, because you don't want to have like an overwhelming amount of things to learn all at the same time. You know, like, you should know those tools exist, but it's good to only get them if you need them and when you're ready for them, you know, because otherwise there's just so much to figure out how to use it all at once. Oh yeah, thanks JT. Yep, flashlight, Alt F. For the PC12, do I recommend SimWorks over the built-in? I think the built-in one's fine. I'm guessing the SimWorks one has more features and realism, but I don't know. You might as well start with the one you already have. If you outgrow, it's just like the Max, for example. Like the 737 Max built in is good enough, especially if you're like just learning a plane for the first time. It's pretty good. No reason to spend $40, $50, $60, $80 on an airliner if that one will do for now. And then, you know, you have the free fly-by-wire A320 you can do. There's the 310, the 330, the AnyBuilds 320. Like, there's so many planes. There's a 747, a 787. I mean, there are absolutely so many planes built into the sim. It's kind of insane, actually, like how many things there are included or free. You know, sometimes I mean, I get it. Sometimes you just want to spend money and you want to know you have the best of the thing. So yeah, I mean, I haven't flown the SimWorks Studio one for a while, so I don't really remember. I'm guessing it's more detailed, though. All right, let's get our IFR clearance from Beyond ATC. So I'll just tune in using that center IFR clearance. We'll let the co-pilot do it because I'm lazy.
Request IFR clearance to Brookhaven.
And they're going to verify our route that we filed is the one we're getting.
23, Boston Center, cleared to Brookhaven. Radar vector Spenno, then as filed. Maintain 5,000.
5,000.
Expect 6,000 feet, 10 minutes after departure. Departure with me. Squawk 1114.
Squawk 1114.
Cleared to Brookhaven. Radar vector Spino, then as filed. Maintain 5,000.
And he said expect 16,000. That's what we were expecting here.
6,000 feet, 10 minutes after departure. Departure with you.
Beyond ATC, more to get.
1114.
Seriously, I used the default ATC for so long. It has its problems, but they are improving it. Like, they improved the audio in it. They've been fixing bugs recently in Sim Update 3 with it. Like, the thing is, like, you can get used to the basic flow of VFR with the comms here with ATC or IFR flight plans with this, where they will assign you an approach toward the when you get towards the airport, which is what Beyond ATC will do too. It's more than enough to get started with the in-game ATC as well. And you also get cool features like the taxi ribbon that you don't get with Beyond ATC. You know, it draws the taxi path right for you, right in the sim. Is great. Like, I love when I use that. I don't mind the help, you know. So they told us they're going to give us radar vectors to Spenno. So that means we're just going to take off and fly the runway heading for now. And they'll vector us to Spenno and then as filed. So all the other waypoints that we told them we wanted to fly, that's what they said. They don't change our flight plan. And then, yeah, we're going to depart. Let me put the runway in. Doing runway 1. And when I do that, it updates the map. So it'll point directly at the threshold of 1 to remind me where it is so I can taxi over that way. All right, let's get this thing started up. I need to look at the temp here. ITT is really low, so we'll probably won't do a hot start, thankfully. Manual. Nav lights on, and we'll just do the push start. And we just wait for 12 or like 15 NGs here, and then we introduce the fuel with the red lever down here. There's 15, red lever. And ready to pull the red lever out if this is going to go into the red. There's totally a bug with this though. Like, look, it's going to peak at 9 something. Not in the red. Now it's going down. And now watch it click into the red for a split second. It's going to go. Wah. Blamp. There it is. It just changed the whole gauge all of a sudden. That's kind of a weird bug. So hopefully I'm not killing the engine. All right, engine's all started up. Throttle's at idle. We can get generator alternator on. We can get the fuel pumps to auto. Ignition off. And this time I'll remember the GPU. Go to ground ops, disconnect the GPU. And it's closing. Little flap. This camera lingers for a while. Navigraph is the most essential. It is. A lot of these add-ons are worth the money. I mean, if you know what it does and why it's going to benefit you, like there's a reason why they're popular, right? Like Navigraph is an incredible product. Could you get away with not having it? 100%. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been trying to not use it at all. Like I can avoid using it for this flight. Like I can just zoom in. I don't have a taxiway diagram, like an actual chart, but I have this satellite map. I have my avionics over here. I know exactly where to go. For the taxiway instructions, if the signs are accurate, I can look for the signs. You don't have to have all the moving map stuff, you know. How do you get the modern airliners? In library, just, I don't know what version of the sim or what edition you bought, but make sure that you have like the standard to deluxe stuff installed, or deluxe to premium, premium to aviator, those bundles. I think on the left side you can filter by bundles. But that's where you manage all your content for the sim. So you might not have activated certain planes that you have access to. Okay, holding for release. So we just go to runway 1 and we're squawking already. We got 5,000 in there. I'm gonna set heading mode and flight level change mode at 125 knots. There we go. And it's runway 1, so I'll just turn this to 001 for now. Alright, parking brakes off and taxi lights on. And we are tracking an OnAir company. And I could just use this down here if I want to. You got standard? Then I don't know if it, like, you can just double check in the library and see if it has everything installed. So with standard, I think you get the 737 MAX. You get the... Do you get the 330? I'm not sure. The 310 maybe? The 330 maybe? You'll get the CJ4 business jet. I'd have to look at the plane chart that I have, but... Alright, takeoff config's yelling at me, so we need flaps and we need rudder trim 3 degrees right. Okay, that's done. And then I need to turn on ECS, bleed air, and air conditioning. You got it? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you ever consider upgrading, like, it's going to be cheaper to upgrade your edition than it is to buy individual planes. But it just really depends on which planes you want. You can see the airliners now? Nice. Yeah, I forget exactly which ones are with in the standard edition. But I think you at least have the MAX and maybe the 310 and the 330 and the 320 even. Probably have a few Airbuses and the 737 MAX. And then I think this 747 you might have as well. I think the 787 is premium. There are some planes you can buy individually from the marketplace, yes. Like the PC-24, what, like this, didn't they do the C-17 or something recently? But yeah, if you browse the marketplace and just, you could just search a Sobo. But yeah, you can, or you can buy the upgrade to another edition, the full bundle if you want. You have the 737, 47, Neo, A320, 330. Nice, yeah. I mean, that is... For some people, all they need is a 737 and an A320, so... Yeah, I mean, if you, I think the MAX, like, I did, I really need to just take a night off or two and at some point and make the 737 MAX tutorial, like a getting started one, a single video. Because I think that plane is pretty well done. And I can make like a quick start video for it. But if you look through my live stream history, I did do like an attempt at a live tutorial for it. You know, it's not a concise 20-30 minute video, but it is like a 2 or 3 hour live stream. But going through everything step by step, slowly. So if you want to learn to fly that one, if you haven't yet, then I have that. But it's not a concise edited tutorial. It's just a live stream replay. A380. Oh yeah, and like you shouldn't stop yourself from getting what you think is cool. Like get whatever plane you think is cool and hop in it and mess around. You know, you're not going to know exactly what you're doing right away, but at least you can have the satisfaction of like loading it on the runway, hitting full throttle and taking off and looking at the thing, you know, in all its glory. Like do it, you know, who's going to stop you? Whatever keeps you motivated in the sim and learning and having fun, like that's what you should do. If it's learning how to do an ILS approach like by the book, or it's you know, buzzing towers in a Super Hornet multiplayer, like you should just do it. Ignore all the angry Redditors that would be like, that's not realistic. You know, at the end of the day, it's a game, right? You should be having fun with it. So yeah, I mean, get the fly-by-wire A320 is great too. Like you could learn on the fly-by-wire free A320 instead of learning on the built-in Neo or the AnyBuilds A320. I mean, the fly-by-wire is great.
Short of 1, holding for release.
Couch 323, released for departure. Clearance void if not off by 9:55 Zulu. If not off by 9:55 Zulu.
380, yeah, the fly-by-wire 380 is the only one we got. Well, actually, there might be like one in the marketplace that's probably way worse than it. But yeah, fly-by-wire is great.
Released for departure. Couch
The 380, and they have a 320 as well. That's very, very good. I think I'd rather fly. I would pick the Phoenix first and the fly-by-wire 320 second, and then the AnyBuilds 320 third, personally. The sounds in the fly-by-wire 320, A320 are so good too. Been grinding OnAir, got around 60K, nice. Suggestions on making money. It's really slow going, especially if you're on Thunder. I'm actually not, I'm not great at doing the economy part. The only reason I have a couple million is because we did the VA for a bit, and then there was so much money injected into it that when we like somewhat dissolved it, everybody got a payout. But I mean, the two mil isn't even enough to like rent an airliner yet. But if you're on Thunder, on OnAir Company on the Thunder server, it's very hard to earn money quickly. It's meant to be a super grind. So if you want to make money faster, you might want to play on the other two servers. You can have one character on each server, and then you can do the AI stuff. But yeah, you can hire AI. Yep, you can do like regular routes and like work orders or whatever it is to get them to do a bunch of things in a row while you're sleeping or while you're flying. And I think you can even use OnAir Company on like a laptop. They have like a web client you can use. All right, we should probably take off. Heading mode, flight level change. We got it synced ahead. You guys don't have to wait over there. We can all line up at the same time. Everybody's being like too professional. Look, they got overtime waiting, like a nice person. I don't care if we run into each other. Sometimes it's fun to do the mass takeoff. All right, I'm gonna get going. All right, parking brake is off. Let's get the power set and not explode the engine. We're all gonna run out of gas. Yeah, exactly. Every man for himself. All right, 80 knots, rotate. All right, positive rate. Go, go. There, this terrain's a little sketchy. I think we're all right. You know, it's 700 AGL. All right, let's get our turnout and get these off. let the co-pilot contact them.
Boston Center, couch 323. Good morning, 2,200 feet.
Yeah, Jason, that's the M500. Yep. 3029, 16,000. 3029.
Maintain 16,000.
16,000.
3029er, couch 323.
Alright, we'll put nav mode on standby. Watch my overspeed. Yeah, I love this plane, dude. I just wish it was prettier on the outside. Alright, so we got flaps up, we got the pumps and ignition turned off. All of our lights are good. Yeah, 747 is standard, yeah. Top 3 prettiest planes. It's so hard because there's so many different... Like, I was flying the Lightning yesterday, and I think that thing looks so good. I mean, of the ones I fly all the time, for a turboprop, I like the Kodiak the best for a turboprop. I think that thing looks awesome. Better than the Meridian, the Dukes, the TBMs, and the Grand Caravan. I like the Kodiak the best. I think it looks so cool. For airliners, I think I like the 737 MAX. Like, I love the weird claw, like wingtips on it. They're like really unique looking. The engine nacelles or whatever, that chevron pattern like the 787 has, I think is really cool looking. And I like flying them anyway. Like the iFly one was so good, and I don't mind the default one either. So I don't know. I like the 737, the MAX. Looks awesome. But like this plane is, I think this is one of the ugliest turboprops. This thing looks like crushed, and it looks like it's been flattened, and it looks like it's had its nose like stretched out awkwardly. You know what I mean? It's like, it looks so weird. The proportions are very strange on this thing. As much as I love this plane, I don't think it's a great looking plane. All right, let's switch to 140 knots on the speed. Should have done that sooner. We're pitched up quite a bit. Add a little power. Flaps are good. Pressurization is going. Oh yeah, the PT6 is a long nose. Yeah, it just looks funny. It looks good from certain angles, just, you know, maybe not from the side. It's not horrible. I think I like the look of the E-jets too, like the CRJ, ERJs. Nobody else said what they think the prettiest planes are. It's just me here putting my opinion out, being judged. No auto throttle on this plane. Nope. Just keep it in the green. Keep it in the green and don't overspeed on your descent. A220 with the raccoon eyes. A220. Yeah, that's a good looking plane. Are the raccoon eyes just like how the, is that just how the windows are? Do I have to look up a specific one? FA-18. A380. Dude, I would love to fly on an A380 sometime. That'd be insane. Yeah, I forgot. Aren't the landing lights in the wheel on this thing too? I think we turned this one off. Pretty sure we turned the landing light off after takeoff because I'm pretty sure it's on the gear. Aircraft checklist. Normal takeoff, landing gear up. Cruise climb. Oh no, it doesn't say that. Where's the landing light on this thing? Is it just these on the outside? I don't see it. I don't know, I think it might be in the wheel, on the gear, like the taxi light. But then we have this light right, like what are these? This isn't even on. I mean, those have to be the landing lights. What else would it be? I guess they're just maybe off at a certain altitude. I don't know. Yeah, it's gotta be the landing lights. We got our strobes and our nav lights. Judging intensifies. Judging? You got the 737 in career? Nice. Yeah, I got it and then I crashed it. Because I shut an engine off. Do not attempt a one-engine landing in the 737. Unless you know what you're doing. Because I didn't. It was not good. Over to Boston Center.
Contact Boston Center 127.65, couch 323.
You never get bugs in career mode?
Boston
Don't say that
Center,
too loud.
Couch 323. Good morning.
People are going to get upset.
14,000.
Couch 323, Boston Center. Copy.
Yeah, don't say it on Reddit, yeah. VIRPIL, yep. I love it. I mean, for me, I think the VIRPIL stuff, I don't think the throttle is for everybody, but because it's pretty small, so like the Honeycomb Bravo is probably like the best throttle, like in terms of versatility. It's just so big. Like I used to have a huge like 60-inch desk and I downsized and got a standing desk, and it went from like mounting like the Honeycomb stuff to just like when I was using it and then taking it off to I just wanted to reclaim my desk space, and all the mounting options with the VIRPIL stuff's really nice. So I like how it's small. The stick is, I mean, it's really high quality, but it's also like really low footprint. Yeah, I really like the pedals too. I think the Honeycomb Bravo, like for people that love having like up to 4, they're like the 6 axes on that thing. The Bravos are really, it's just really versatile. Oh yeah, you do DCS, yeah. VKB and
Turn
Honeycomb
right,
depending on DCS or
heading
flight sim.
005, couch
Yeah,
3
I mean, some people really like having a yoke if they're flying with a yoke, and they want a stick if they're flying with a stick, or, you know, one for DCS, one for GA, one for flight sim, and I don't care about that, so I like just having a universal. Fly standing up, I have before, but I'm mostly sitting. I just have a sit stand desk for when I'm working, you know, throughout the day. Just get off my butt a little bit. But yeah, I have a little sit stand desk with a bunch of monitor mounts, and everything is mounted on this desk. It looks like a spider, basically, you know? It's like a little body and then all these long extensions all, you know, all around. You got everything's on a mount. One mount per monitor, 3 monitors. Sometimes I would like put the desk into standing position during cruise, and then put it back down for the landing. Oh, Rockin', what's a good Reddit? I mean, there's the official one just called Microsoft Flight Sim, I think. And then there's r/Flight Sim, which is kind of a general flight simming one. r/Aviation is really good. Yeah, those 3 are like the big 3 probably. So Microsoft Flight Sim, and Aviation, like those 3. It's a beautiful bird. I was just talking about how ugly it is. It looks good from the front and stuff. It's just funny when you it just looks kind of short. It looks short here, like it's crushed, and then the super long nose. It's not the worst, but it's not that great. I think I might have the unpopular opinion on this one, though. How do I do rudders without a 3rd anchor point? Yeah. I sit my ass down. It's the main reason you don't use your Honeycomb. It takes up too much desk space. Yeah, I had the Alpha and the Bravo. And after I had the Alpha for a while, I actually switched to use the Thrustmaster side stick. I switched to the TCA Airbus side stick and the Bravo, and then I replaced the side stick with the VIRPIL. TBM? I don't think the TBM is as ugly as this. The 930. Nah, I think it's just the weird shortness to this, and like just the whole front. I don't know. It looks kind of funny. I like the look of the Kodiak. It's like shorter. It's not as like elongated looking. A yoke? No, I have a side stick. I have a VIRPIL side stick that's mounted to my left, and then a VIRPIL little throttle panel that's to my right. New VIRPIL pedals. I have the Ace ones or whatever, and I really like them. I had the MFGs before, and these are way smoother and way easier toe brake. The toe brakes aren't as hard to use. I got the damper for it, but I don't like it. It doesn't return to center, so I wouldn't recommend the damper. I got it, and it's just, even at its like lightest setting, it's too much. It can't return to center. I need like a stronger spring or something maybe.
Turn right.
But it didn't come with one, so that makes me think it's like a design flaw. But just the spring is good enough without the damper turned on. Like the damper feels good when you're pushing on them to have that resistance, but yeah, it didn't return to center, and I didn't want to set a huge dead zone for the rudder pedals. Turn right. Yeah, they said turn right 015. I don't know why. Look how far out we are from our destination. We just got started. We're about to turn right anyway, so I don't know why they told us to turn right 015. Boston Center, why do you want us to turn right? Couch 323. Let's see if they'll even tell us.
Boston Center, couch 323. I did not issue a turn instruction.
Liar.
For any updates.
He didn't issue a turn instruction. It literally says turn right heading 015. This is some say intentions level stuff happening right now. VIRPIL's like the Lamborghini of sim gear. You can get stuff that's more expensive though. The Thrustmaster TPR pendulum rudder pedals or whatever, like, are they like $600? The Thrustmaster Boeing yoke, I think that's like $500 maybe. The VIRPIL stuff's cheaper than that. Or around the same price or cheaper. Like the rudder pedals are definitely cheaper. There is some more expensive stuff, and then there's like the force feedback things you can get. There's the, you know, the people that make peripherals, you've never even heard of the company name because they're so specialized to make it like all metal as realistic as possible. You know, like that stuff that like V1 probably uses. Like he's got like a full-on Airbus setup with a tiller, and yeah, there's some super specialized stuff. Yeah, butt kicker, built by hand. Yeah, there's so many things that are more expensive actually. VIRPIL's just like the higher end of the well-known, like super popular company, like peripheral makers. The ones that you know, can get enough business because they're not selling stuff for like $1,000. But yeah, I think the VIRPIL stuff is great. I've never tried any of the force feedback stuff. Maybe I would love it. I don't know. I'm worried that it'll break too much and too much maintenance and so many moving parts and compatibility with different planes, and you know, I don't want to deal with it. Like for me, the VIRPIL with the base, like yeah, it's nice.
Couch 323, Boston Center. Expect radar vectors. Runway 15.
We'll expect radar vectors, runway 15, couch 323. Luyan. There we go. Now let's see if we have this chart or not. Flight planner charts. Luyan RNAV 15. Yeah, I do not have a chart. But the reason there's no chart is because it will only, at least right now, it'll only automatically pin the chart if there are LIDO charts. So it doesn't apply to FAA charts. So I need to go and look at the charts for KHWV myself. Since it's in the US, I can look for an FAA chart as an alternative. So there we go. We got the airport diagram. Got the RNAV for runway 15. There's an ILS for runway 6, but only the RNAV for 15. And so this one is an LNAV minimums approach. So it's an RNAV approach. It's not LPV minimums. Remember all those different categories we were looking at for you guys that were asking? This one only has LNAV minimums. So LNAV is lateral navigation. It's going to line us up decently with the runway, but it's not going to like get super precise like an ILS or an LPV will as we get closer. So it's just good enough to line us up roughly with the runway, and then it's lets us go down to 570 feet above the ground. So that'll be 640 on the altimeter. So, you know, it's not bringing us down to 200 feet like an ILS, but we can still go down with no visual of the runway required until we get to 570 feet, and we have to have a visibility of more than 1 mile. So that's still pretty good, you know, for just this GPS approach.
Couch 323, turn right, heading 025.
No, we're not going to do that.
Turn right, heading 025.
All right, how's our fuel looking? We have 2 hours of fuel and it's only 14 minutes till we get there. All right, so the Barrow minimums for the approach, we got 640, so we're going to put that in here. Barrow 640. Yep. Good. Enter. Load. And then I'm just going to remove the on route waypoint so we don't loop over the airport and then double back out and then loop back in again for the approach. So this will be more accurate. Oh, we need to descend now. All right. Boston, couch 323, ready to descend.
Couch 323, Brookhaven landing runway 15.
Yeah, that's a bug. Like they should say descend at pilot's discretion and blah, blah, 1,000.
Couch 320.
Anyway, the final approach fix is at 1,400 feet. We'll just put in 1,400 feet.
Couch 323, contact John F. Kennedy, approach 120.05.
And then because we've missed our top of descent, I'm going to choose my current waypoint and then hit VNav direct, activate. Now it'll calculate a new top of descent. I'll hit VNav so it's on.
Couch 323, 16,000 feet.
And now we're starting our VNav descent. So if you want to start your VNav descent earlier than top of descent, or if you want, or if you're, or if you've missed your top of descent like I did, you can use that VNav direct, and that will just calculate it from your current, from where you currently are. So because I missed the top of descent, I was late. We're descending faster than we would have. We're doing 3.4 degrees instead of 3 degrees. And if I was, 10 minutes out from my top of descent, I could still do VNav direct and start my descent early, and then it would descend at a lower or a lesser flight path angle. It'd be like 2 degrees or 1.5 degrees or something like that, like more shallow. Since I missed it, we're descending faster than we normally would. You need to see the runway at that altitude, or you have to go around. Yes. Yeah, you have to go missed if you don't have the visual of the runway. And the criteria, it's really like the runway environment you have to have a visual of. So there's a bunch of different things that determine if you have the airport environment. Let me look it up actually. IFR airport environment rules. What counts? I think it's like the runway end identifier lights, the paint on the runway. Let's see. The runway environment must be directly visible and identified. It includes specific visual references such as the runway lights, the airport beacon, and other approved items. What does that mean? IFR regulations summary. I probably could find it in the far aim. Oh, is this it? Instrument flight rules. I'm looking it up in the background real quick. Lights. Here we go. Yep. All right, here it is. I guess it's in, what part is this? 91.175. Takeoff and landing under IFR. So here are the requirements. So it says except for a Category 2 or Category 3 approach. Those are pretty much just flown by airliners, right? These are like this is like the auto land style approach. I think Category 2 is like a 50-foot minimum or 100-ish feet. Category 3 they can take down in 0 visibility. But for us, like the GA pilots, we're all doing, this is all Category 1 ILS approaches. So it's about 200 feet AGL for the minimums. But then look, it says the at least one of the following visual references for the intended runway has to be distinctly visible and identifiable to the pilot. So you have the approach lighting system. So that could be like the approach runway end lights, which are like the flashing white lights on the left and right of the threshold of the runway. An approach lighting system that looks like a T symbol, like you're flying over all those lights leading up to the runway. There's a few variations of those. So it says approach lighting system, except the pilot, I didn't know this, the pilot may not descend below 100 feet above the touchdown zone unless the red terminating bars or the red side row bars are also visible. I didn't know that exception. And then these are other things they have to have visible. At least one of these things. So just one of these has to be visible to continue the landing. The threshold of the runway, the threshold markings, the threshold lights, Oh yeah, these are the ones I would mention. The runway end identifier lights. Those are the flashing white strobes on the left and right side of the runway threshold. Visual glide slope indicators. So that's the PAPIs with the red and white lights, or the VASIs, red and white lights on either side of the runway. So if you just see the visual glide slope indicator, the PAPIs or the VASIs, you can continue. The touchdown zone. So that's like 1,000-foot markers, or the other ones, like the little ones before and after that are like every, 500 feet. Touchdown zone lights, the runway or runway markings, or the runway lights. So, I mean, you see just one of those things, you can continue below minimums and continue with the landing. But I haven't read that before. It's just what I've picked up here and there. But yeah, I don't know. I can't recite that extensive list myself, but yeah. So yeah, the minimums, that's how low you can get on an instrument approach. Like, imagine you're flying VFR though, and you have clouds, 1,000 feet surrounding the airport. Like, you can't descend through those clouds in VFR conditions because you're not allowed to go through the clouds. So you need to either be below all the clouds before you're getting towards the airport and can land. And that's, you have to be outside of the airspace or within the airspace you're supposed to be in, no matter how complex it is. So with IFR, like 570 feet above the ground might seem like a lot, but unless the clouds are below 570 feet AGL, we can do this approach. So we could take this approach so long as we can see the runway before this altitude, before 640 on the altimeter, which is 570 above the ground. So if we look at the weather, it's VFR, so there are not even any clouds reported, so it just says clear because all the clouds are above, what is it, 3,000 or 4,000 feet? But yeah, I mean, we don't have to worry about the minimums on this at all. You want to see if you can time yourself out? Psh. All right, JT for science. Where do you find information for the recommended brake setting for the airport you're landing at? Well, what plane are you flying, Jake? Speed brake set? It's not. You probably don't mean speed brakes. You probably mean auto brakes. Yeah, auto brakes. So if you're flying like an Airbus or a Boeing, if you have an auto brake system, you'll usually get it from, if the plane has its own EFB, like a custom one, it'll usually have a landing performance calculator in it, and that will tell you or let you see a preview of the brakes. Okay, you're in the MAX, then I would recommend using SimBrief because the default 737 MAX does not have its own custom EFB. It just has this one, the one that's in 24. The one in 24 does not. Oh yeah, by the way, you could just set the maximum auto brake if you want. Like, it's the sim. You can just set the maximum auto brake everywhere if you want. You're not gonna have to pay for anything. But yeah, if you want to set it more accurately, I would just use SimBrief because this EFB does not have landing performance in it. If you have SimBrief though, if you're using a SimBrief flight plan already, it's really easy. So if you already have one like this, you can go to performance up here, or on the website, go to the performance tab on the left. And you can see this is not filled out by default. It doesn't have any information in it, but I can hit populate from last flight. And then you can either do takeoff by hitting calculate, or you can go down here and expand landing and hit calculate. You can also like refresh the weather. And when you do this, it's going to give you all of the landing information if your plane's supported. As part of this for your plane, or any airliner really, it'll have an auto brake setting up here. So just use the use SimBrief. It's great for that. But if your plane that you're flying, like the Phoenix, for example, the fly-by-wire, the AnyBuilds planes, those more complex planes will have their own landing performance calculator on their custom EFB that you can use instead. But yeah, you could just pop open SimBrief and use it. That's what I would do. And then if you scroll down, you can see it visualize like where it's gonna have you stop by. No, SimBrief is not paid. It is owned by Navigraph, so you have to make a Navigraph account, but you do not have to pay. You just make a new free Navigraph account. You do not pay for Navigraph Ultimate, and then you sign into SimBrief using your Navigraph account. And on the Navigraph website, or sorry, the SimBrief website, just click the download button and you can download this EFB app and put it in your community folder. Yeah, if you don't have it right now, just put it on max auto brakes. It just depends on the weather conditions, if the runway is wet or not. It matters if it matters the landing distance available, how long the runway is. I feel like in the max, you're usually going to use like auto brake 3 or maybe auto brake 2, but you can set it to max or 3, you know, and just see how it works. If you're once you land, you know, the auto brakes will engage, and then normally you just tap the brakes when you're slow enough, when you're ready to turn off the taxiway. But at any point you can just hit your brakes manually to take over. So if you realize that you set the auto brakes too low and the end of the runway is coming pretty quickly, you know, you see the landing markers for the other end of the runway, you're coming up on those, so you only have a few thousand feet until the end of the runway. Just take over and do manual braking. You were in career but in free flight. You can still, actually, I don't know. In career mode, does it disable the EFB apps? I think you can use you can use SimBrief Dispatch in career mode too. But worst case scenario, I mean, you can always just go use the website, use the SimBrief website. But you can use this in career mode, the EFB app. I used it a bunch of times when I was doing it. When I was like getting using SimBrief and getting Beyond ATC to work, synchronized and all that. All right, they said our altimeter is 3032. We got our lights on. So this is an LNAV approach, so that means that we will only go down to 640 feet. I mean, I'll disconnect the autopilot before then. We have good weather. And it's daytime. Yeah, it's going to bring me around here. A couple left turns, line up with runway 15. And there are no notes here saying that it's an offset approach. So if you ever notice that this last line doesn't line up with a little black line right here for the runway, it could come in from this direction, and then it's an offset approach, so you have to make the final turn yourself. On the FAA charts, it'll have a little note somewhere around this area near the runway that'll say like final approach, offset, 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 20 degrees. So you know that there's a turn you have to make yourself to line up with the runway. We just got to make one more left turn. No problem, tail. JT, are you going to time yourself out or what? I'm not going to forget I gave you the coin. Yeah, you can use the EFB. Yeah. It's been a bit since I've done too much career mode. Been lurking too much. Dude, I don't care if you lurk. I lurk when I watch streamers. Today I was lurking on V1 stream. I was lurking on Continuum stream. During the workday, I tune into streams pretty often and just have them on in the background while I'm working, seeing what people are up to. It's fun, man. I'm mostly a lurker. Sometimes I'll say hi or something, but most of the time I'm just there lurking myself. Alright, lining up with the final approach course. And then down here we can see L. Oh, interesting. Why does this say L/VNav? We should only have an LNav approach. But it says L/VNav, which is like the second best. There's LPV is the best, and then LNav VNav is second best. So it'll actually give us vertical guidance. Yeah, this should say LNav plus V, which is advisory vertical guidance that the Garmin gives us. Oh, that's pretty sweet. Okay, I see the runway right there. So we can see the PAPIs, or it might be VASIs on the left. PAPIs are a straight line, VASIs are square. And how's our wind looking? Got a nice 12 knot crosswind. Thanks a lot. So we check the weather and then runways, or info runways. Yeah, 2.4 is recommended. So for 1.5, it says we'll just have like a 4 knot crosswind when we land. Oh, it says meters here. Is that a bug? I have feet. Oh yeah, that's a bug. That's weird. This should say feet. Why does it say meters all of a sudden? It's weird. Alright, let's get the autopilot off. Will you see the runway? So you can see how we weren't lined up like perfectly with it. It was like kind of off a little bit to our left. And it could just be because of the crabbing actually. Alright, so let's get manual fuel pumps. We could turn that off. We got our lights set, manual pump, manual ignition. Let's get flaps 1 down. 3.7 mile final. Just looking right here at this little tiny number for the runway threshold. I'm getting trolled by Microsoft. Oh yeah, for the Celsius versus Fahrenheit. No, I mean, I want Celsius. I want Celsius for flying. I want Fahrenheit for the inside of the plane. Alright, gear down. Sorry, I didn't do Twitch predictions. Even JT's not chatting. I think everybody fell asleep. Alright, pull the nose up to slow down. I need 135 for flaps 2. I'm going to slip it a little bit. Left rudder, right ailerons to slow down faster. Alright, now I can do full flaps. Alright, there we go. Gotta turn into the wind a little. Alright, we got the VASIs square format on the left. Alright, just 3 knot wind from the right. Alright, reverse thrust. Or in beta mode. Pull it all the way back. Whoa. 4 whites, too high go around. Never. I refuse. I'm too lazy. Ooh. Is that the Learjet? Oh, it's like a generic. SF50? What the heck? Wait, that's supposed to be the Vision Jet? What is happening? It's replacing the Vision Jet with that. Oh, I turned it to low. I turned it to low. I forgot. I turned my... Oh, that's probably why we weren't seeing the planes out. I forgot I turned this to low yesterday when I was troubleshooting my crashes. That's what happened. That's why everybody's in generics today. Whoops, my bad. That's why every plane looks wrong. I'm an idiot. Damn it. Online, multiplayer off, multiplayer on. Do you only see, you see everybody. You can see friends only if you want, if you form a group with them before you join the game. You can like go into the top menus in the main menu and invite friends to a group, and then I think you can do group only for who's visible. But yeah, if you turn it on all players, you just see everybody. Everybody that's on the same server and near you, and you can see a maximum of 40 people at once. You don't know why it's not working? I actually made a web page to show you why it might not be working. Here you go. These are all the settings. Like if you turned your air traffic to off, then that counts for multiplayer too. That might be it under graphics settings. Oh, yeah. And you're not seeing us because if you're not seeing any live players ever, then it might be your settings. If you're not seeing us, it's because we're all on Sim Update 3 Beta, which is a separate multiplayer server. So I can only see people on Beta right now. Oh, PC 24. I haven't flown that for a while. It's showing the blue livery. Are these showing the accurate liveries now? The Nebs and the Titan, which I also haven't flown. There's just too many planes to fly. Is it showing you guys in your accurate liveries? Like Eagle, are you in this blue livery? He probably is in this livery. Oh, my chat got disconnected. I got disconnected from YouTube chat. What the heck? Maybe they're banning me. Successfully connected. Okay, I'm back. You are in that blue livery? And that's not the default livery, is it? Is that the very first? Is that the first livery in the list, or did you scroll and pick that one? Because I think it'll, like how it worked before is it would show me in the, it would show whatever the first livery choice was. But is this one that's like several, you had to change it to this one? Showing shadow in the red one. Oh, it is the default? Okay. Yeah, it seems like some planes are showing the livery that somebody has chosen, but... Yeah, see, Overtie's on the red one. I'm guessing he didn't choose the red one, because the blue, the black, and the white are way cooler. You are in the red one. The red one's also the default. And Al is in literally nothing. Impressive. Oh, you never see anyone? Yeah, just check those settings if you never see anybody. Yeah, this plane is sweet, dude. Look at this thing. You're in the red one because you don't care? Yeah. Alright, what'd I get? Very smooth landing. I didn't drop off all the passengers though, so this is, I have to, I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to pass out, but I need to go back to KORE and get the remaining passenger. Because I only brought a couple of them here. Yeah, so I dropped off 4 of the 5 passengers and I didn't bring their 300 pounds of stuff, so I'm not going to get credit for it. Until I do that. All right, dudes. Short stream for me. That's pretty short compared to the ones I've been doing. Yeah, I feel like normally what happens is like on a Monday or today, which feels like a Monday, after a weekend, as soon as I get back to work, I'm just like the first night of the week, I'm like usually a few hours late, I'm just chilling after work and I just don't want to do anything. So I was later than normal today. Vision Jet's your favorite little jet. I love the Vision Jet, dude. I must like it because I never make tutorials. Like I very rarely make tutorials, and I made a bunch for the Vision Jet, so that's how much I like it. And that's why I want to make some for the Max, because I think the default Max is totally underrated. Oh, look how huge my hands are. That's actually what I look like in real life. No joke. My hands are like 5 times bigger than my arms. That's pretty much accurate right there. That's pretty much it. Thanks for all the teaching and vibes in this stream. Yeah, dude. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Overtime is flying a Vision Jet in a full military get-up. Dude, I think the PC-24 looks pretty badass. I like the look of the PC-24. It's insane how the full flap extension is ridiculous. Is it like 40 degrees or something like that, or 45? I thought it was like 40. It's pretty crazy. Wait, Alice in the 350 is just not showing up at all. I don't know why. The only thing we can do, you know, people are gonna make the Fortnite dance moves mods. It's gonna be much more fun once they do that. Somebody will make a chessboard thing. You hit a button, it puts a chessboard setup, and you sit down, and you can play chess or checkers. And then a little jam box appears, and then if you walk up, you'll see people playing a chess game, listening to some tunes. A little jam box. A little Sony cassette boom box. Be beautiful. Yeah, Slender Man, yeah. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit. All that talk about ATIS. Alright guys, GG's. Thanks for flying along tonight. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Probably on a little earlier. Unless I make a tutorial, but what are the chances? Like, it's like a 0.5% chance. Shadow, thank you so much again for the gifted subs, dude. Tweak, if you're still here, thanks for the 4 months in a row. And thanks for the bits tonight. Turtleneck, Tweak Demon, much appreciated. Thank you guys for the Homer TTS and stuff like that. Good stuff, and thanks for just being here and hanging out. I'll see you dudes tomorrow. Nobody I'm following is streaming again, so no raid tonight. Monday with a T, I know. It really is. Alright guys, you have a good rest of your day or night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye. See ya.